I can't say anything extreme on the show. Okay. Boom. Okay. Today, I want to cover the latest. There's been a debate between Hasan and the WillyMacShow. I'm going to cover that. I think we're also going to watch a bit of this other video from before that basically WillyMac's done, which led to the debate where he sort of, well, I mean, it's evident from the title, right? Hasan, the worst politics streamer. So yeah, we're going to watch a bit of that because I just want to watch the main bits where he does the criticism that I think they're going to debate. I don't necessarily want to spend an hour watching this video. Let's do a little watch of this Piers Morgan. Let's do a little watch. Right, let's watch this Piers Morgan Owen Jones debate. Because I've seen some 1-minute clips of them screaming at each other about whether or not it's a genocide going on in Gaza. So I want to watch the debate. Right, let's see what's happening. My own opinion on whether it's a genocide. Sorry.
Mass and their version of events either, would you?
Well, that's why I'd bet.
It's interesting, actually. I was just about to say that because I agree with what Owen's saying. It's all true. But I would say just generally, don't trust 100% of everything coming out of both sides. It could be true, it could not be true. Israel's showing videos of a Hamas base underneath the Al-Shifa hospital currently. It could be real, it could be not real. I'll take it with a pinch of salt. Hamas give figures for deaths, say buildings that have been destroyed. Now, we can see most of Gaza's, like, there's huge amounts of damage. I'm not even saying that those are false, but we should always take that with a pinch of salt. So, a lot of people quote figures for various things. That also comes from Hamas. I think we should take anything that comes from both sides with a big pinch of salt, because both of them engage in propaganda and both of them lie. But Owen is right, though.
And what aid agencies are the United Nations around, which is that collective punishment is being unleashed against the Palestinian people. I mean, look, we can see already the evidence they've been unveiling for what they said was a terror hub, including showing CDs and a computer. What they've done to that hospital is, firstly, because they cut off energy in a total siege, which they justified by saying they were fighting human animals, which should be considered genocidal rhetoric, has been condemned as such.
Well, it should certainly be condemned, and they should not have power.
Because that is collective punishment. Can we agree? Under Article 33, that's against the law. It's a war crime.
It is a war crime, and that Israel definitely aren't. This is my issue in this whole conflict. A lot of people keep seeming to want to say things are simple, but you've got Israel gets brutally attacked, and then they do one of the most brutal campaigns of reprisals against the Palestinians, in which you've got 10,000 people dead. And to me, it's like Israel had a legitimate reason to be attacking Hamas, but the stuff that they're doing and the rhetoric coming out of the Israeli government, especially when you look into the history of people like Netanyahu, is just completely unacceptable. Right? There's too many people dead. And if what they're saying about what's in Al-Shifa is true, it looks pretty minor. And it comes down to, if there's like a small base, it depends what they're doing out of there. Maybe more evidence will come out. Maybe it'll turn out it's a huge base of operations. But even if there's like a small base under a hospital, it probably isn't worth raiding it because of the loss of life. And even if you just wanted from a pro-Israeli perspective, it makes Israel look terrible. And it's just, unless you find a massive command,
heading towards collective punishment when you do that.
You're not heading towards collective punishment when you cut off energy or water to the entire civilian population.
Except, to play devil's advocate, they try and get fuel in, the Israelis, as they've said, to the hospitals, to the humanitarian side of this, but they know that Hamas are taking that fuel and using it for their military.
The hospital authorities, who we should listen to, have rebutted those accusations. Look, what's happened here is babies right now are gasping for breath and suffocating. We've had several nurses and patients shot dead. In fact, this whole hospital has been described by medical staff as a mortuary.
But you don't know.
When a hospital becomes a mass grave, when dozens of decomposing bodies have to be buried in a mass grave in a hospital, we're talking, what you said, can I just quote something you said about Putin? And I think this was very wise. You said, in March 2022. I'm seeing a genocidal monster killing women and babies in maternity hospitals as we sit back and let him do it. Why was it so disgraceful? But you were right. You were right to be
here's the difference.
Why when you see this hospital, is there not the same fury?
Let me explain. Because the two are, in my opinion, morally very different. In one case, Vladimir Putin's illegal invasion of Ukraine, he was committing war crimes, having illegally invaded wait a second, let me finish. Having invaded a sovereign democratic country. Here, it was Israel that was invaded by a vast number of terrorists who murdered over 1,500 innocent men, women, children. They kidnapped 240 people, including babies, children, Holocaust survivors. So my point is, morally, there is a massive difference.
Hold on.
Morally, it's a massive difference. Now, the question of the hospital, wait a sec. The question of the hospitals is this to me. They have so far produced some evidence of us operating inside the hospital. For me, Putin's doing in Ukraine and what Israel's doing to defend itself against Hamas, isn't there?
Hold on.
Isn't there?
No, absolutely. No, sorry, this is the difference, okay, if you want to talk about that or trying to separate them. For a Ukrainian ordinary civilian being killed or for an ordinary Palestinian child being killed,
both equally awful.
None of them did anything wrong. We agree on that, don't we?
Yes, we do.
We absolutely agree on that.
Yes, we do.
Now, when you repeatedly denounced Putin...
But there is a moral difference between what...
Sorry, I need to go back. I'm distracted by the Twitter stream not working.
Wait a sec. The question of the hospitals is this to me. They have so far produced some evidence of Hamas operating inside the hospital. For me, so far, as a journalist trying to be fair and impartial, I don't think, as you've heard me say to Mark Reggett, I don't think I've seen enough evidence here which says to me this was a sprawling command centre. But there is a moral difference between what Putin's doing in Ukraine and what Israel's doing to defend itself against Hamas, isn't there?
Hold on.
Isn't there?
No, absolutely. No, sorry, this is the difference, okay, if you want to talk about that or trying to separate them.
No, I'm sorry. I think that it does lead to a difference. It doesn't necessarily justify invading a hospital to deal with a very small base. However, right, there was a massive, insane, brutal massacre in Israel that I think Israel... I just think anybody would respond to militarily. Now, I don't think anybody would cause 10,000... that just anybody would cause 10,000 deaths. Putin also would. And to be fair, I don't think in either case it's a genocide. I think Putin wanted to do cultural genocide in Ukraine, in the sense that he wanted to erase the culture and make it Russian. And I think there's a lot of, certainly people like Ben Gvir, who Netanyahu's in government with, would love to do genocide on Palestinians. But I don't think in either case it's a genocide. In Ukraine, it's a brutal imperialist war, and in... I don't even know what you call it in Israel, with the Israeli-Palestinian situation, because it's like the levels of violence coming currently out of Hamas and the desire for violence from both Hamas and the Netanyahu government basically mean any kind of peace is impossible because neither side wants it. Both sides revel in and somewhat depend on violence. The situation there is different. It's very complicated. I think both sides in the recent conflict have done some pretty horrendous stuff. Obviously, Israel's got way more power, so its body count's much higher. I don't want to get into a debate about whether it's less brutal to bomb people than it is to chop them up. So as some people have been doing. So yeah, I think the situations are clearly very, very different because the Russia-Ukraine one is much more uncomplicated.
For a Ukrainian ordinary civilian being killed, or for an ordinary Palestinian child being killed,
both equally
none of them did anything wrong. No. We agree on that, don't we? We absolutely agree on that.
Do.
Now, when you repeatedly denounced Putin for his genocidal behaviour in Ukraine, do you stand by that? Do you think that's a genocide?
Absolutely.
Well, it doesn't matter what the basis for what the operation...
Of course it does.
No.
It does.
No, Piers, in terms of what actually is happening, we can talk about the massacre, the obscene massacre of 1,000...
What Israel's doing is not genocide.
Piers.
You can't keep saying
let's talk about...
But the thing is, he's right, though. It isn't genocide, right? Genocide is something else. It's something specific. Now, in fact, I don't think what Russia was doing... What Russia wants to do could be considered cultural genocide. But in the sense in which... I don't think that's what Israelis are trying to do, what Owen's accusing Israel of. I think he's accusing trying to eradicate the people. They're clearly not trying to eradicate the people of Gaza. And as much as they... now, whether they want to displace them, I think the government would like to. I don't think they'll be able to because of international pressure. So certainly, if you wanted, if you wanted to say, Netanyahu and Ben-Gvir would love to do ethnic cleansing, I'm sure they probably would in terms of throwing people out, but they're not committing genocide. 10,000 dead out of 2 million is tragic. It's awful, but it's not. It's a tiny fraction of the population of Gaza. It's awful, right? And it's a lot of people. Right? It's too heavy-handed, and I condemn the tactics. However, as I say, it just isn't genocide. And this obsession that some people have, where something bad happens, and we have to call it something else that's bad, is just unhelpful. Right? It doesn't do anything. It doesn't save any lives. It doesn't get anyone to genocide should be when you're deliberately trying to eradicate people, not when you've done heavy-handed bombings, not when you invaded a country, not even when you have some people in the government who make insane genocidal statements. Unless you're actively trying to do it, it's not really a genocide.
Genocide. Let's talk about genocide.
Yeah.
Why is it?
Let me tell you the difference between genocide. Let me put something to you, and you come back at me and tell me if I'm wrong. Hamas, from its charter onwards, and from the spokesman said last week, is dedicated to the eradication of Israel and killing as many Jews as it can possibly kill. That is the purest definition of genocide intent that you will ever see. And they executed it on October the 7th as best they could. Now, what Israel's doing in response, and they've been very firm about this, and the international...
Well, yeah, again, you could say, Hamas, it's in their charter that they should genocide all the Jews in Israel. However, they didn't have anything like the ability to... What happened on October the 7th was horrific, real horrendous stuff. But, again, that's not genocide. Not because Hamas don't want to do genocide, but because they can't, and that's not what they were trying to do. They were trying to do a brutal attack. Because they know they don't have the power to wipe out all the Jews in Israel, so they just killed as many as they can, which is a massacre. But again, it's not genocide even then. Even though, yes, Hamas would love genocide. But again, as I say, I'm pretty sure Ben-Gvir and people would love genocide, but it doesn't mean Israel's doing a genocide.
Courts will rule as they...
These are very long questions.
They're not. I'm answering a point, and I'm putting one to you, right? In my estimation, they are qualitatively different. What Hamas is publicly what it's doing is genocide. What Israel's doing is not genocide.
There's a difference between what Israel, you could say both Israel and Hamas have engaged in genocidal and murderous rhetoric.
No.
And I'll give you an example.
No,
they have.
No, you can't.
Benjamin Netanyahu.
No,
I can. Is it uncensored or not?
Yes. You can say
Let me quote what the Israeli authorities have said.
Go on.
Benjamin Netanyahu, when he quoted Amalek, the scriptures, what does Amalek say? He quotes Amalek when they attacked the Israelites. And what God told the Israelites to do was to destroy kill every man, woman, child, and livestock. If I would put it to you...
Yeah, it's actually, with the Amalekites, it also does it with the Canaanites as well, in the Torah, or, Old Testament, if you're reading the Bible. It says that they were so evil that God didn't just say you have to kill all of them. He said you have to kill all of them, and kill all of the animals that they own, and burn down all of their crops, and smash the houses to pieces. Which is, pretty insane. So to be honest, if you're quoting that, that's very, very worrying. Right? Now, are they trying to do that? No. But, I mean, Netanyahu and the others probably would if they could get away with it, but they can't.
Islamist leader was quoting a similarly genocidal passage from the Quran. You would not, I would say, hesitate. We haven't just but you've had a lot.
Respond to that
I'm going to respond just quickly. Israeli officials said that Gaza will end up being a city of tents with no building standing. That they are attacking for damage, not for accuracy. The agricultural minister Avi Dikti, he said we are rolling out a new Nakba. A Nakba is the mass expulsion, 700,000 Palestinians in 1948. This is why hundreds of genocide scholars, people who are actually, unlike you and I, experts in the field of genocide studies, fear that a genocide is taking place. So the difference between Israel and Hamas is Hamas does not have the capacity to wipe out Israel. Israel is wiping Gaza off the map.
Well, no. If the Israelis actually wanted to do genocide, they would. It's difficult to say actually once again, there are people in government who would love to. But if they're actually doing genocide, the death toll will be higher than 10,000. I'm not minimising 10,000 dead, but it will be a hell of a lot higher. It'll be a hell of a lot higher. So saying that this rhetoric is worrying, could this lead to genocide? Yeah, I think that's a perfectly fair thing to say. Saying, is what's going on now genocide? No, it clearly isn't. We end up in this ridiculous argument over, is this genocide, when what we should be doing is arguing, is arguing about how do we solve this problem, how do we get peace to the region, how do we get an equitable solution for Israelis and Palestinians, right? How do we have peace? How do we have an end to the killing, right, on both sides? Right, that's really what we should be talking about.
But that's the point.
But no,
not
you
which words to use.
expose the weakness in your argument. Israel does have the ability to kill everyone in Gaza tomorrow, and they're not doing it.
Oh,
in fact, well, hang on. What they're doing, and it's indisputable, they are issuing a number of warnings repeatedly to people to go south. Wait. And stay out of northern Gaza, right? And then they're pulverizing it with airstrikes, and now they've gone in on the ground and they're waging battle with Hamas fighters, terrorists, right? No, hang on. So my point is this. Israel could, if they wanted to, kill everyone in Gaza. They decided not to do that.
Is your definition,
so they're not, genocide is where you want to kill everyone.
Sorry. Your definition of genocide, because in Ukraine, Vladimir Putin hasn't killed every last Ukrainian. That's simply not happened. No, he hasn't.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I don't think it's a genocide there. I think we want to say he'd like to do cultural genocide. Okay, sure, fine, okay. Because cultural genocide is, it's not you kill all the people. It's just you try and destroy the culture and replace it with your own or whatever. So if you wanted to say that, okay, I think that is partially his goal. Although I'm not even sure he really thinks he can achieve that. In the case of, but still, if you want to say it's a genocide, like he's trying to eradicate Ukrainians, kill all of them, I don't think it isn't. I think it's the massacres, I think it's an insane, horrific brutality. But I wouldn't call either genocide, because I think genocide should have the strict definition if you try to eradicate, an entire group of people.
Nor has he stated his intention to do so, and nor as brutal and barbaric.
Sorry, Vladimir Putin, to be absolutely, by illegally invading a sovereign country and indiscriminately bombing anything in front of him.
Indiscriminately bombing
is waging a form of genocide.
Wow. Indiscriminate bombing. Gaza. More than 2 Hiroshima bombs worth have been dropped on East London in the space of 5 weeks.
Okay, let me ask you two
questions. No, you said Ukraine. No, I'm going to have to put this to you.
Okay.
15,000 people have now been killed now by the Israelis, estimate, in Gaza. 1 in every 200 people in Gaza have now been killed. If you were to adjust for population in Ukraine, that would be 300,000 Ukrainian civilians. 300,000, there's been a terrible death toll. It's estimated by the UN, 10,000 civilians have been killed since February last year. In the space of 5 weeks, a country with a much, much smaller population has had a much higher, has had a death toll higher officially than that in Ukraine. So how can it be?
I'm going to answer.
How can it be that you call that genocide, but when you have nearly half the entire civilian death toll of the Bosnian War in a country which is twice the size in terms of population, why isn't that genocide based?
Well, I've just answered your question by saying if Israel wanted to commit genocide, they would simply
So would Russia.
They would vaporize.
So would Russia. They would nuke Ukraine.
Russia wants to take over
Ukraine. If you want to do a genocide, using nukes is silly because it's A, massively scorched earth, B, you'll irradiate half of Europe, and C, you could start a war. So I don't, even if he wanted to nuke Ukraine, which I think he was debating, he realised it probably would lead to a war with the West or some kind of conflict with the West. So no, I don't, that's a silly argument. Oh, well, he'd use nukes. It's well, I don't think he would. I think he would if he could. To be fair, I think he'd use tactical nukes to scare everybody if he could, but it would start a war, and so he can't.
Ukraine.
Yes, and they want to take over Gaza.
And it will kill any number of Ukrainians, men, women and children in that process.
The death rate,
death
rate in Gaza is much higher.
The only reason it hasn't is that actually Ukraine has a large military supported by countries like the United States and is putting up one hell of a fight.
Russia has nuclear weapons.
Okay. And by the way, Ukraine gave theirs up.
Russia has an armed force.
Let me ask you.
What? No, you've got to accept this.
Hang on. No. A
far lower death rate in Ukraine.
I've explained why. I've explained why.
You haven't explained
why.
Yes,
I have. But let me explain
Israel have made it clear.
You didn't hear me.
Israel have made it clear that they intend to occupy Gaza permanently.
Yeah, which they should not be allowed to do.
And what did
we can agree on that.
What did the Israeli ministry leaked intelligence? What did the intelligence?
Yeah, if they occupy indefinitely, though, it's still not a genocide. This is why I think you need a strict definition of genocide, and not just try and call anything bad. There's a lot of loss of life genocide. Genocide is when you try to eradicate a group of people, right? Something can be really bad and not be genocide. Right? If somebody just beat you up in the street for no reason, that's really bad. But then if you're like, oh, I was raped. Like, he was touching me without my consent and hit me, and also, it's not rape, it's different, it's terrible, it's really awful, but it's not on that level, that's something different. And I think we need to be careful of it's not even just using words like that, it's obsessing over them. Obsessing, is it genocide? It doesn't matter, let's talk about how we find a way out of the current problem. It seems to be very difficult with either of the current leaderships, right? I mean, there's no way you can have peace with Hamas, because they view any negotiation, any recognition of Israel as an absolute betrayal of the Palestinians. They'll never give in to that. Netanyahu is basically a fascist who wants to take over the whole area. He's seemingly happy to let Ben-Gvir and people just erase the power of the Supreme Court. So both sides want violence, both sides profit from violence. In terms of the governments, the people of both sides, of course, lose. The people of both sides are the losers. But the governments win. And as long as that goes on, it's very difficult to see an end in sight, because you're going to have Israelis voting for increasingly far-right governments. There's going to be more violence. Gaza's growing up being bombed. They're going to join Hamas. They're going to do terrorism. There's going to be even more far-right governments doing even worse stuff. And it seems like we're in an endless cycle of violence. And I think working a way out of that is what's important, rather than sitting around going, no, it's genocide, you have to say it's genocide. Oh, no, you mustn't say it's genocide. It's just a silly discussion.
Sorry, mate, it's my interview of you,
I know, but
not your interview of me.
Well, I think Let me answer you.
Let me answer you. Well, let me ask you two questions, which I asked Jeremy Corbyn.
Sure.
Let's get these off the table. Do you believe Hamas is a terror group?
Yes, if you engage in violence against civilian population, that's terrorism.
Okay, wait, don't do supplementaries. Let me just ask you this. Second question, which I asked him and she couldn't answer. Should Hamas remain in power?
If I could wave a magic wand, then no, obviously there'd be an independent, let me finish.
Okay.
There'd be an independent Palestine, free of Israeli rule, with a secular democratic movement in power. The difference
I agree with you.
When you courageously stood against the Iraq war, and you were courageous for doing so, so what was the argument put against you? That you wanted to keep Saddam Hussein in power even though he gassed his own people, the Kurds, and committed genocide, many would argue, that he had invaded his neighbour.
And that was genocide, he was trying to wipe them out.
He had massacred the Shia when they rose up in 1991. Now, your argument against that was that what could happen next would be far, far worse. And you were right.
That wasn't my argument.
Well, that is the argument. So did you want to keep Saddam Hussein in power?
Don't tell me what my argument was. I know what it was. I was editor of the paper that waged the campaign.
Did you want Saddam Hussein to remain in power?
I did not believe that they had produced any evidence that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. I thought he had nothing to do with 9/11. Therefore, we were waging a completely irrelevant war, which I thought would stir up absolute hell in the Middle East. And you know what? I was right.
Yeah.
And actually, most of the architects of that war now concede they were wrong.
Yeah, they were wrong.
It was a horror story from start to finish. But what it did do is spark the rise of ISIS. And what the world did with ISIS was say, this crosses a moral line, we have to get rid of them. And we went after ISIS in places like Iraq and Syria and other countries, and in bombing the hell out of ISIS, a lot of civilians got killed.
You just skipped a lot of very important history.
Wait a minute.
No, that's not what happened.
Well, that is what happened.
No, that's not what happened.
One of the consequences of the Iraq war was that ISIS became a very powerful, for a short period.
Well, to be fair, they've got like a 15-minute segment. Like, I don't really... Wait, hold on. You didn't do the entire history from 2005 onwards. That takes more. That takes more than the last 4 minutes of a 15-minute segment. I'm sorry. To be fair to Piers Morgan.
At a time, global terror force committing atrocity.
Can I just correct your version of history?
But in wiping out ISIS pretty effectively, we also killed a lot of civilians.
No, what actually happened?
What's the moral difference to us doing in Gaza?
You just revised history. We were told that Al-Qaeda was perhaps in league with Saddam Hussein. That was one of the justifications for invading. What actually happened after the invasion was that it became a playground for Al-Qaeda, who you've missed out, I've noticed.
No.
No. And what happened...
We know about Al-Qaeda. I'm talking about ISIS.
What happened, for example, is Fallujah, the city of Fallujah in Iraq, the Americans went in and they massacred people protesting against their rule, and many of those Sunni populations ended up driven into the arms of Al-Qaeda. A brutal counterinsurgency program then resulting in mass slaughter of innocent Sunni civilians, and from that fury and anger, something even worse than Al-Qaeda emerged. Just as
ISIS.
Yes.
So you agree
and
with
that was I'm saying that's exactly what we're seeing today.
I didn't give every detail of the journey.
No.
I just said out of the Iraq
War, you've misunderstood.
Right.
They engaged in a brutal counterinsurgency.
No, I know the story.
Offensive against Al-Qaeda, and that caused something worse to emerge. Just as in Afghanistan.
I know.
Just as Afghanistan, we had 2 decades of occupation.
Listen, we're running out of time.
2 decades of occupation, and the Taliban emerged stronger than ever. The same applies to both what happened in Iraq.
That was because, to be fair, that was because of a series of failures in Afghanistan, where we allowed rampant corruption, we allowed Hamid Karzai to rig an election, and then basically his successors to do so. Was he the president the whole time, or someone else? No, I think someone else was towards the end. Anyway, with the level of corruption, when I say corruption as well, the level of corruption of the police was insane. They would go to villages where you have big families, and the head of the family is basically makes all the money for the entire family, and they would take him and arrest him and go, he's arrested on terrorism charges, you can either pay bail or he's in prison for the rest of his life. I bribed them, and it even got to the stage where people said the police won't actually take your case unless you bribe them. You actually have to bribe the police to pay any attention to your problems. Like, it was insane, and that was one of the reasons that people went back to the Taliban. We also took our eye off the ball with Iraq. So yeah.
And Afghanistan.
It seems to me...
Because if you brutalise a population,
talking,
you will turn them into terrorists.
Stop talking.
Or extremists. Listen, join them to their arms.
You make a lot of good points. I agree with a lot of things you say, right? Always have done, actually. I find the way you say them, as you do with me, quite annoying. But that's fine. You're allowed to, and we're uncensored. Come back. I want to end, if I can, with some kind of... Look, we've agreed Hamas is a terror group. We've agreed they have to go. How do we actually get peace here?
Firstly, we have to deal with the underlying causes of what's driven the Palestinian people in the case of Gaza into the hands of Hamas, which is, starting in 1948, the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian population in the Nakba, with 700,000 driven from their homes, murderously, I might add. Then,
and hundreds of thousands of Jews were driven from their homes before
not
that.
In Palestine.
Well, they were driven away from Arab countries.
Hold on.
They were driven away from Arab countries.
Yeah, from Palestine.
Jonathan Friedland wrote a very good piece about this, saying, you know what, if you go into history, there's just cause on both sides.
The Palestinians were driven from their homes, 700,000. And then we had the illegal settlements and colonisation, including in the West Bank, were completely unremarked upon.
And I've already condemned
there was mass terror, illegal settlements, and as well as Amnesty International, as Human Rights Watch and B'Tselem describe it, the Israeli Human Rights Organization, a system of apartheid.
But
if you keep brutalising the Palestinian people, ridding them of their freedom, and you end up now in Gaza with parents picking up the burned, dismembered remnants of their children, there will never be peace.
I agree. What I would say to that is that on the Arab side, they have had multiple opportunities to do a peace deal, not least in 2000 with Arafat.
Go on. What were the concessions?
Well,
because
the truth is Bill Clinton, who helped forge peace in Northern Ireland brilliantly with Tony Blair and with the others involved there, that actually Arafat, they had peace in their grasp, and as Bill Clinton said to him, I'm going to end up being a failure because of you.
And that revision of history again, not just from you on this program, but by Bill Clinton, because they demanded, for example, land swaps for a ratio.
You know what? We've run out of time.
In favour of Israel.
Come back again. No, seriously, this conflict's not going away.
No,
it's going to continue raging the war. I think you're an important voice in this.
Okay, we'll chat.
Good to see you.
See you.
Yeah, unfortunately, that conflict is going to go on for some time. I mean, a lot of what Owen Jones says is true. However, I kind of agree. I feel like, again, this is about, like, if you notice, they actually agree on a lot. Like, they both agree. I think most people agree that we need to get, outside of. I think the vast majority of people agree, at least outside of the region, that we need to get back to peace and we need to get back to a two-state solution. And we need to figure that out. Owen was wrong at the end. Arafat did completely walk away from what was a very good deal, and nobody could understand why he didn't do it. And the Palestinians would have had a state if he'd have accepted it and not done the second intifada instead. So it is true. And unfortunately, the more you read about that conflict, the more you realise it's just depressing. And both sides have been really fucking and doing some horrible stuff to each other for quite a while. The Israelis now have all the power, so of course the amount of like fucked up shit that they've done is it's more. The Palestinians do these big bursts of like murdering civilians, although that hadn't happened for a while. But then you have this big massacre. But then Israel do these very heavy-handed tactics and this constant expansion of settlements, pushing Palestinians off the villages in the West Bank, that just generates insane amounts of anger and fury. And going right back to the beginning, I've been reading Israeli history and the history of the region, so it's pre-Israel from like the 1920s. You just have all these massacres. You have Jews moving into the area to try and start a state. Then you have Arab groups rioting. It culminates in like the Hebron massacre. Then you have Jewish groups like forming together and like doing like throwing Palestinians out of their villages, doing like the Irgun, doing all these crazy like just insane violence, and it's just this constant back and forth for the last 80 years. And we just really need peace and a two-state solution. I think it's the only option. Oh God! Right. Let's crack on with the Hasan one. Okay, so we're gonna watch some of this.
Rub it on my balls, smear it real good, feed it to the dog.
Hasan is a socialist, meaning he thinks employees should have direct control over company decisions, otherwise they might as well just be slaves.
And this process is so inherently undemocratic, which is why it's always weird when we fucking talk about, like how much better we are than like, older organizations. Oh man, we're so much better off than fucking living in a feudalist society. Like, come on, it's like.
Does he really think feudalism was better? Prove it. Run your stream like.
Wait, what? Wait, sorry, did Hasan say feudalism was better? That's insane.
Inherently undemocratic, which is why it's always weird when we fucking talk about. Which is why it's so weird when we talk about like how much better we are than like, older organizations. Oh man, we're so much better off than fucking living in a feudalist society. Like, come on, it's like.
Does he really think feudalism was better? Prove it. Run your stream like this. He doesn't because he knows it would slow down his business.
And you're supposed to sit there and go, yeah, you know what? This is actually appropriate. Because, like, hey, guess what? I'm too stupid to make that decision for myself. I'm too stupid to make that decision for the entire company. We can't get together as an entire company and make this decision ourselves on where the profits should go. Where should we actually, should we invest it back into the business? Should we invest it back into a better compensation structure?
According to...
Wait, is that Hasan attempting to explain market socialism? Because it didn't seem like he was doing a great job. I'm not market socialist. I don't actually think that in order for workers to have a fair deal and get fair rights, that they necessarily need to vote on absolutely everything that the company does. And it's much better to have strong trade unions that can negotiate for better conditions and pay for workers. But that was a very poor. Like, I could explain it better than that. That was a very, very poor explanation.
Him, he doesn't even do the bare minimum when it comes to the people that work for him. Do mods and editors get a say on what Hasan gets to cover on stream that day? Does he profit share with them and provide benefits? No, they don't even get paid.
Are you paying, right, proportional to the millions that you're making off Twitch, right? Does that carry over to your Twitch? So sure, I believe you for your podcast.
To who? To what?
To editors, to moderators.
Yes.
So you're paying moderators or a head of moderation?
No, not editors and not moderators.
So no one. You gotta love how he's just down to lie if Train didn't press him. He then brags about how he still paid the editor for his podcast, even when his podcast wasn't making money yet.
There are a lot of situations where a venture that you get into is not actually making money, right? And I think people are still generating some sort of value even when they're not actually making money, because even when the business itself is not actually making money, because the business could potentially make money in the future.
He's acting like he's being generous. This is how every startup works. The owner still pays the employees even when the business isn't profitable yet. Elon Musk with Tesla would be considered the biggest socialist in the world if that was the case. Here's the thing. Hasan is lying when he's saying he's taking a financial risk by starting this podcast. All he does is crowdfund the money from Patreon to pay his editor.
I think we're going to watch like some of this, because there's a limit to how much I can react to someone else doing this coverage of Hasan. Because although this is a video essay, in a way, I feel like that's kind of reacting to a series of Hasan's content, and I'm kind of just going to be sat here going, yeah, well, fair play, I think he's right there. So, yeah, I think we're just going to watch a bit of this, get a feel for it, and then jump into the debate, and then react to that.
Wow, this guy is so generous, he lets you pay for his employees. So between his free labor force, content theft, and his bare necessity budget, I fail to see how this guy practices what he preaches.
But it's really frustrating that, like, this is a fundamental thing I believe in, and I advocate for, and I practice what I fucking preach, and yet motherfuckers still always say that I am actually fake.
It's cause you are. Hasan being a socialist is sort of like me being a Catholic. We both say we are those things, but in practice, those words don't carry any weight.
I did it my way.
Hasan is just bad at news, dude. There's no other way to put it. That guy will sit there and speak with absolute authority while the article he has open on stream is proving him wrong. Hasan would debate with a viewer over trans women competing in women's sports and breaking world records.
You're not making any good arguments? No, the only reason why I'm not making any good arguments to you is because you are transphobic, and that's the unfortunate reality, and it's probably not going to change.
This guy didn't even say anything hateful. He just didn't agree with Hasan, so now he's transphobic.
Or they're literally breaking records after records, not just participating. Wrong! Wrong! You are wrong. You are making that up. You have read like 3 articles from like 3 random edge cases. You are wrong. Show me.
It's right there in front of you. Just
wait. Is it me or just? I don't even know see the Mighty Boosh. It's like Howard Moon. What's the guy's name? Look, with the long hair and the moustache. With the long hair and the moustache, look. Oh, for fuck's sake. That's so annoying. Look, it really does.
Is because you are transphobic, and that's the unfortunate reality, and it's probably not going to change.
This guy didn't even say anything hateful. He just didn't agree with Hasan, so now he's transphobic.
Or they're literally breaking records after records, not just participating. Wrong! Wrong! You are wrong. You are making that up. You have read like 3 articles from like 3 random edge cases. You are wrong. Show me.
It's right there in front of you. Just read. When one of Hasan's trans fans would chime in and say that Hasan's doing a bad job arguing for trans people, Hasan can no longer just write them off as being transphobic. So instead, Hasan decides to be transphobic.
Here's the other part. Like, you, for the record...
Right, let's go. Let's have a look at some of those, because I just want to get a feel for it. What are the general theses he's made? Let's look at the Israel policy.
10 hours of reporting from the ground. At a critical moment, at a critical time.
Get a feel for it, and then I want to jump into the debate.
Not going live that day, just so I can go.
I do kind of feel like it's boring to react to someone doing a video essay about someone else's reaction. It's just
on Piers Morgan and can yell at him. I think it's selfish of me to take the Piers Morgan route.
This from the ground reporting is just him sitting in his room reading tweets. There is no exclusive information that he's receiving, yet he speaks with absolute authority. When a hospital was bombed in Gaza, both Israel and Hamas blamed each other, and investigations were on the way to get to the bottom of it. But Hasan apparently already knew, posting a stream and video titled, "Israel bombs Gaza hospital, 800 plus killed." In the stream, he goes on to discredit any mainstream media reporting on casualty numbers as false.
Update from 8 minutes ago. Between 200 and 300 people killed in Gaza hospital airstrike according to Hamas-run health ministry from 1 hour ago. Wait, what? No, the number is like 800 now.
His source for discrediting this outlet is a tweet he found.
The number is now at 887, according to on-the-ground reports.
Wait, is that actually misspelling genocide?
My friend in Gaza tells me I smell the death
genocide
after Israel violently kills more than 877 Palestinians in the Al Ahli Arab Hospital in the center of Gaza City. It's a Christian hospital. There's a church next to it too. Both are destroyed.
He actually has no idea if they're destroyed. He then implies that this news outlet isn't trustworthy because they pointed out that the only source of information on this is from Hamas.
I love that they keep saying Hamas-run health ministry, like it's not the fucking health ministry.
But it is run by Hamas. Should they lie? When Israel denied the airstrike and reports came in that it might have been by Hamas, Hasan suddenly becomes an arms expert.
I do not believe that the Gazan factions have a rocket powerful enough to be able to wipe out their own hospital. They do not. They do have rockets. And
What?
sometimes...
What? Firstly, they didn't wipe out the hospital. Second of all, why would you, as somebody like Hasan, sit there and act as if you know the yield of fucking Hamas rockets, right? We saw earlier he could barely explain his own position on the fucking market socialism. So, like, why does he think he can sit there and, like, oh, yeah, actually, the average yield of a Hamas rocket is too low to do the sorts of damage that we were seeing? How does he fucking know? I don't know. I was just, at the time, I was kind of just looking at it going, okay, what's going on? Okay, it seems like maybe it was a rocket. I don't know. That's what people are saying. Right? The idea that you're going to sit there going, oh, I'm so qualified. Yes, clearly, as we know, it's like you don't know, you've no idea, you're just saying it because that's what you want to be true.
There are failed launches, but a failed launch on a fucking rocket is not going to be able to destroy an entire hospital. They do not have the firepower capabilities of destroying an entire fucking hospital. So even from an immediate assessment, that is unimaginable.
How would he have any expertise on that?
Oh, here. Okay, I'm gonna put this side by side. I want you to fucking understand something, okay? So that is a JDAM called on.
It doesn't even look similar. Like, not that I know. For all I know, a JDAM could do either kind of explosion, right? But to be fair, that like the cloud, the shape of it going up, could just because it's at night. But it does look different. But again, I don't know. That's me, unqualified, going, I mean, it kind of looks different. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is indistinguishable from those images. I don't know. I don't think so. But not because of my own views, but just because of everything that's come out since, really.
Do you think that seems similar to one another? Also, not a ballistic trajectory expert, but that JDAM came from super high up. If you look at the actual confirmed video of the bombing, you know that neither of these parties have the capability of dropping a bomb like this on themselves, even by accident or deliberately.
What?
They do not have this capability.
They fire shitloads of missiles all the time. To be fair, I think that I didn't cover this at the time, Hasan's coverage. I really fucking should have. I covered his debates with Ethan, because it's more fun watching debates. I should have covered some of his live shit, because this is fucking ridiculous.
You have no evidence.
This
Stop
is
concluding.
so bad.
What is this? What am I looking at? What am I looking at with my own two eyes? What are you looking at?
A video of an explosion, right, with zero qualifications. But like me, all of us, with zero qualifications or knowledge on what different types of explosions should look like from what.
I have no evidence? Don't believe your fuck. What do you mean? Does that strike you as a fucking misfire?
Was that a pun? The next day, photos of the hospital would be released, and to the surprise of many, it wasn't blown away. The missile hit the parking lot, destroying some cars, pointing to that initial casualty number of over 800 being greatly exaggerated. Everybody knew there was a chance that the terrorist group was lying besides Hasan. Let's reflect on his track record. He dismissed U.S. intelligence with Ukraine. He dismissed reporting that a U.S. base got bombed by Iran. He ignored actual video evidence of Kyle Rittenhouse defending himself. And now all reports when it comes to the hospital bombing. Because all of these people must be racist. Besides Hamas, they're good, honest folk.
Israeli military said it did not have any details on the reported bombing. Fuck you. Fuck you, dude. Why are you... It's ridiculous. Like, oh, Hamas-run health ministry. Well, you know how they are. You know how those dirty Arabs are. They lie all the time. You know what I mean? They're probably lying again. Meanwhile, well, the Israeli military said that it did not have any details. Okay, got it.
If it wasn't their bomb, doesn't it make sense that they don't have details? Nearly all third-party investigations point to it not being Israeli. Now, does Hasan correct the record?
Yeah, it's the third-party investigations I'd go by, though, to be fair. Now, Israel going, didn't look like ours, like, wouldn't really be enough for me. Right? I'm not going to trust the leadership of either side in the conflict.
Apologize for jumping to conclusions? No! He destroyed chatters for siding with the reports.
IDF didn't bomb the hospital? Change title? IDF didn't bomb the hospital? Yes, it did! Yes, it did! Yes, it fucking did. You fucking piece of shit. Yes,
Jesus.
it absolutely did. Fuck you. Fuck you. You genocidal scumbag. You have no fucking dignity. You do not have an ounce of dignity inside of your soul. But it doesn't matter. Terrible that the people died, but I encourage you to look into where Hamas was firing. You fucking piece of shit. You garbage, monstrous scumbag. You garbage, monstrous scumbag. You said IDF didn't bomb the
Jesus. Oh, why does my internet have to fuck up? Come on.
hospital, and then you said it did.
Oh, what's going on? Why?
But Hamas was firing rockets from it in the same 2-minute time frame. So why did you fucking lie
I need to get a fucking mesh Wi-Fi.
at first? Huh? Why did you fucking lie? How can you live with yourself, you genocidal piece of shit? How? Why did you do that? Why did you say IDF didn't bomb the hospital and then immediately retaliated to, well, I guess they did, but because Hamas was firing rockets.
This guy is not lying, bro. He's just following the news that it was a Hamas rocket. Hasan can't even read correctly. He then finally understands what the chatter is saying and still calls him genocidal.
They did not. Oh, back to they did not? Really? No, I didn't. They did not. You just said it. I'm losing my mind. Oh, you're saying IDF didn't bomb it because Hamas was firing rockets from right next to the hospital.
Schmuck.
And it actually misfired and fell into the hospital. Oh, okay. I thought that he was, okay. Never mind. Yeah, you're still a piece of genocide denier, 100%. But no, it is not a fucking misfire. And guess why it's not a fucking misfire?
This guy's insane.
I mean, he was trying to cover for himself. You saw him have a second of oh shit, I misread it. I understood it. Fuck you. You're still a piece of shit. Oh, that was shameless. That was shameless.
Information would come out, Hasan would double down, just because he can. Despite the evidence, he's still 90% leaning towards Israel being guilty.
My metric of who is responsible for a bombing is not what the IDF says, okay? And it's not even necessarily what Hamas or Hamas-backed people or people on the ground say. What I care about is the facts of the matter. Facts of the matter made me lean 90% on the Israeli side, assuming that this is an Israeli bombing yesterday. Okay? I still maintain the position that it is more likely.
It's so painful for him to give this update.
However, the reality is that now, after looking at all of the new evidence, bomb site that we can lay eyes on, the Israeli counterclaim of this being a Islamic Jihad or potentially a Hamas rocket misfiring is not as unlikely as it was yesterday.
It was just
It's not as unlikely as it was yesterday. What a statement. I think he just misspoke and meant seemed. But it's just funny.
So
Given how wrong he was, it's just funny. Yeah, it's actually not as unlikely as it was yesterday. Yesterday was very unlikely. But today it's more likely.
Hard to make it seem like he didn't dig this hole for himself. General Hasan then comes back out telling us about missiles.
I do not know if there's a deployment, like an activation that Israeli munitions have that can detonate way before it impacts the ground. And if that is the case, then it's still on the side of I still believe that it's most likely an IDF airstrike.
Cool, makes a lot of sense. This guy knows what he's talking about. Hasan would then go on Piers Morgan, doubling down.
Israeli airstrike hit the Al Ahli hospital.
Now, interestingly, when you were saying that, I was coming on air too, and I took a position based probably on 30 years of being a journalist, running major newspapers, working at CNN and others, of waiting, of just saying I think we should just wait and see what has actually happened here, get clarification before we start passing judgment.
That's good advice, Piers.
And yet all the evidence now suggests very strongly that it was a terrorist
go that
group
far.
inside Gaza. So my question for you is this. Why would you
I wouldn't go that far,
Why
Peter.
would you
He says based off nothing but a guess.
You made it seem as though there is a certainty that this was 100% not an Israeli airstrike.
No, I didn't.
And instead,
I literally just said it's not a certainty.
Okay, sorry.
I said
then I misunderstood
the
you.
evidence is
Then I
increasingly
misunderstood you.
pointing to this not being an Israeli airstrike. And that is expert evidence
Okay,
from people who have no skin in the game at all.
Yes. Well, I don't know which expert you're talking about, because I think Channel 4 did a pretty good job. As a matter of fact, I would say Channel 4 did probably the best job so far in analyzing everything that the IDF has said.
We covered
Channel 4 does.
we covered that Hasan Piers Morgan on stream. I forgot about his depth. Well, to be fair, like, I still can't help but look and go, like, Hasan must be like, I think he's kind of just shitting himself, because it's like, shit, I'm on, like, because you would be, right? His first time on, like, a massive news thing, it's proper news, like Piers Morgan, it's like a really big show, like, I think I'm being a little harsh, but I think it's kind of fair enough, like, I'd probably be like, oh shit, I'm on Piers Morgan. Yes, but, you know, in the same way that Hasan is, right?
To have an early report with evidence pointing to this being the IDF's fault, but they don't speak with the same level of confidence as Hasan.
But tonight, Forensic Architecture, Earshot, and the Ramallah-based NGO Al-Haq have shared new information with Channel 4 News. They say casts doubt on some aspects of Israel's account.
They stress this is a preliminary investigation, and they, like many, call for a full inquiry, unlikely in the heat of raging war. Hamas and Islamic Jihad have so far offered little evidence to back their claims that Israel fired the missile at the hospital that night.
Hasan being wrong or reporting on some false information isn't the problem. The problem is him speaking with 100% certainty on things that experts aren't even 100% confident in. And then when he's wrong, he goes from I'm an on-the-ground reporter who only cares about the facts.
What I care about is the facts of the matter.
To I'm just a dumb guy on Twitch who never reports on breaking news.
I'm just a dumb idiot with a Twitch stream who is live reacting to the news and trying to make sense of everything as it's ongoing. I usually have a policy of not covering breaking news, and sometimes that policy is violated. But ultimately, I am not held up by the same journalistic standards, even though I think I do a much better job than most other news outlets in general.
No, as I've shown, you've done a terrible job. Hasan should absolutely be held to the same journalistic standards. He wants the same credibility as the BBC. He has as big of an audience as the BBC.
Because you get more people watching you of an evening than I do.
I think that one of the reasons why my broadcast, I guess, is relatively popular is because younger people are looking for alternative media outlets that offer a level of consistency and analysis from all sides.
Bruh. He then just starts molding, not because he was wrong, but because people were holding him accountable.
Twitch streamers? Brother, there is no reason for me to say Twitch streamers are stupid. You already know it. You watch Twitch. You know it. We're dumb as fuck. Myself included, okay?
This is the thing, though. This is a really shitty thing to do, right? Because so many people look up to Hasan. So many, like, especially young, impressionable people admire him, like his shit, ham on his every word, listen to all the shit that he's putting out there. And then he tells them all this stuff with such certainty. And, like, talks, you know, we saw when he went on Ethan's show, like, he kind of talked like an intellectual. You know, when he's finally pulled up on, like, talking bollocks, he just goes, well, you know, I'm an idiot. I'm fucking stupid. You know, why are you even thinking? Who thinks, like, I'm clever? Everyone knows I'm a moron. It's like, what? Like, I think it's just such a weak excuse. It's one Joe Rogan used, although other people use it, like Joe Rogan uses it. Joe Rogan used to use it a lot, or I haven't seen any of his shit. It's just for a long time, but he used to be like, oh, you know, I'm an idiot. You know, don't trust me for putting out conspiracies or doing stuff. You know, I'm fucking stupid. What do I? And it's like, bro, like, people look up to you. People listen to you. That's why they like you. They hang on your every word. They're like impressionable. And, like, you can't abdicate responsibility for that by going, oh, I'm an idiot. Well, I can be responsible. You can be, like, stupid and still be responsible. Or at least try. Right, at least try.
if I was a smart person, I wouldn't be getting ritualistically humiliated by socially maladjusted freaks that are agoraphobic on a daily basis in a mass harassment campaign online. But I do that for a living.
How are you always the victim? You're the one who doesn't wait for verification on anything. The Israel-Palestine conflict is one of the most controversial events in recent history, and information is being released faster than it can be verified. And dramatized headlines are creating a deeper divide in an already polarized world. That's why resources like Ground News are so important. This app and website show data that mainstream media targeting civilians. It put the conflict front and center for the Leftovers podcast. Ethan is Jewish and has lived in Israel for years. His wife is Israeli and served in the military, but he remains sympathetic towards the Palestinian plight.
Here's what I'll say about Israel, okay? Listen, this isn't the first time I've said it, and I'll say it many more times. The cabinet is run by genocidal maniacs, okay? They're led by Netanyahu, who should resign in disgrace and go to prison for being a war criminal, okay? He's made a coalition of the most radically conservative freaks that don't represent, by the way, the majority of Israelis.
Even crying at one point when relating to a father who lost his child.
As a father, it's even hard to talk about. This dude was holding his infant. It was like a year old. And he was patting her on the back and saying his final goodbye. I mean, he's holding her like she's alive, like he's just burping her or something. I didn't expect to get emotional about that, but I'm a new dad and that shit really fucks me up.
For the first 2.5 hours, they routinely condemned Israel, with Ethan never justifying any of the brutality in the war.
I don't understand the water and power and food being shut off. That makes no fucking sense. What's the end goal there other than just to let people die? Hospitals don't have power. Respirators are turning off.
But when the conversation shifts to criticizing people, celebrating terrorist attacks on Israeli citizens, Hasan always seems to justify it, throwing in a but.
As the bodies are fucking still bleeding out. And
because Sal said that when I covered it, that Hasan is just pandering to his followers who, he's trying to give Ethan on side by being super amiable with him. But at the same time, he's trying to keep his followers, who are the sorts of people who say crazy shit, right? Like this, pro-terrorist, pro-Hamas. So he wants to keep them on side and not upset them. So he tries to do this kind of tightrope walk when he debated Ethan.
He's saying, this is what liberation struggle looks like. Beheading babies, burning families alive. Solidarity and victory to the Palestinian people. This is pro-Hamas. This man is supporting Hamas.
I think his position is that people that have been trapped...
At one point, Ethan talks about how babies were burned, and Hasan was like, well, stuff like this has been faked in the past, so it's reasonable to think that this stuff was faked.
The Jerusalem Post can now confirm on verified photos of the bodies that reports of babies being burnt and decapitated in Hamas's assault on Kfar Aza, the kibbutz, are correct. And
that was such a... Oh, God.
There was a lot of fucking people being for some reason, they're Hamas would never do that. They would only slaughter 1,500 people. They would only shoot a baby with an AK-47, as if that's not more brutal.
The reason why a lot of people, at least I follow, who have been covering this on the ground inside of Israel, and some inside of Gaza as well, was because of the Kuwait baby incubator situation that occurred in the past. Incredibly brutal, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that circumstance, that was completely not real. That had not happened at all. The media should do their fucking jobs 100%. And I do have criticisms on that front, but it's ridiculous to have a constant back and forth on this when nothing will change and nothing's going to bring those children back.
So don't say they were beheaded. Just don't talk about that. Just let his fans say it's all lies and Hamas never did that.
When has this guy ever waited for verification on anything before reporting on it? 2, what kind of sick answer is that? Well, nothing's gonna bring the dead babies back. Oh well.
You did not say free Palestine or some shit after murderers were happening.
I said that resistance to apartheid is always imperfect and there are casualties
everywhere.
It's constant justification for the attack. He's way more mask off about it on his own stream.
Like, look at this guy. You know what shouldn't happen? Killing 260 people at a music festival. No, you're right, man. That just happened on its own because, like, bad guys wanted to do bad things. You're right.
And if you disagree with his assessment that killing concert goers is a net to die.
Dude, if they subjugated you to a open-air prison your whole fucking life, you're going to break out eventually when you realize that there's no other way to get out of it. Like, do you think that this happened nowhere? Do you think this happened out of thin air? Are you fucking stupid? Do you think...
Why didn't you say all of this shit on Ethan Street?
the Israeli state was just like peacefully coexisting, and then these guys came in with fucking gliders out of nowhere? Don't say fuck off, dude. They didn't deserve it, you fucking idiot. My goal is solutions. Your goal is the continuation of violence. You want way more than 260 people dying. You want every single Palestinian to be fucking executed ruthlessly in the streets so that you can build another fucking theme park in Gaza.
This guy only said 3 things, none of...
Right, you know what shouldn't happen? Killing 260 people at a music festival. Oh yeah, and they deserved it. Smooth brain day. And then fuck up. Christ. Like, is Hasan just getting angry, or is he just demonizing people on purpose? Because it's like, this guy makes a reasonable point, and so Hasan has to tell his followers, no, this guy is like a rabid, insane, extreme Zionist who wants to kill everybody in Gaza. I want to get to the debate in a minute.
Which
I haven't got the gist.
You fucking baying pig! You fucking bloodthirsty, violent pig dog! Suck my dick!
But remember, if you disagree with Hasan, you must be racist. When Ethan brings the subject back to Hamas, cry for sympathy. Because Ethan cried. And of course, it's to justify their actions.
What did the IDF do?
I don't know.
When a wonderful voice for good, a Christian woman, a Christian Palestinian, and an American citizen, Shireen Abu Akleh, was murdered.
This was so
and she was on her way to one of these refugee camps. She had a press vest on. She had a press helmet on. She was shot.
They were wrong. The shooting of the woman by Israeli forces for lying about it was awful. But we're about to witness Hasan, if anyone would have missed it. We're about to witness Hasan doing his fake cry, pretending to cry, right, in a very poor, like, the most obvious and silly way. Oh, let's just watch
in the
it.
neck
Let's see it.
so that she could be assassinated. Okay? This was a major issue. They wanted to do... Sorry. This is really fucked up.
He's trying not to laugh. Look at him.
They went to her funeral and beat the shit out of people and ripped the Palestinian flag off of her. Palestinians can't have a moment of peace in this fucking world. They can't even mourn the dead. Sorry. The IDF went in.
You see, Ethan cried because he relates to being a dad. Hasan cried because he relates to being an on-the-ground journalist.
The Palestinians that were mourning her at her funeral, that were holding her casket, and ripped the Palestinian flag off of her casket. How is that allowed? How can that continue? How do you not see that? That's in the West Bank. This is a Christian woman. This is not a Muslim. This is not Hamas. This is a journalist that was beloved in the Muslim world.
There's not a single tear. There's better acting on the hub. Ethan would agree with everything Hasan is saying, raising no buts. They'd go on to criticize Marco Rubio, Ben Shapiro.
It's conflating Hamas, who are bloodthirsty murderers, to justify killing Palestinians. Here's Ben Shapiro. I mean, no surprise here, obviously, but still.
Oh, he's been baying for blood nonstop.
I mean, here and Ben, and his infinite empathy and human nature, told them that they can right off.
But the moment it became about tweets going the other way, Hasan's got to play defense.
Here is one such example of a dude, and this guy is very popular. He has 1.6 million subscribers.
Imagine, like, if sorry, go on. Say Germany, they said, you know what, Cincinnati, Ohio is our ancestral home, and you know everyone knows that's blatantly false. But they take your home, they murder your grandma, they bulldoze like your neighbor's house. Are those people civilians there? No, they're occupiers, and those are criminals. That is, there are no civilians there. And
So according to Second Thought, he says that every Israeli is an occupier, and there are no citizens there. In response to decapitating babies, which I can now say.
There are two different schools of thought here.
Here comes the justification.
The 1948ers believe that there's two different schools of thought within, I would say, anti-Zionism. Those who believe that all matter of settlements that were propped up even in the inception of the Israeli nation state are unjustifiable, and that they are settlers.
I think it's an extremely evil thing to say, what he said.
Let me ask you this.
No. What do you think? What he said is evil?
I think it is, one, unproductive.
Him calling for the slaughter of all Israelis, it's just unproductive, guys. That's it. It's not a very productive thing to say. Yeah, if this isn't pure justification for people dying at a music concert, then what is? He does this over and over again.
You might have seen there was some sort of rave or desert party where they were having a great time until the resistance came in electrified hang gliders and took at least several dozen hipsters.
I mean, that's insane, right?
I don't even. Yeah. Okay. I have no.
I mean, he was just like, I don't like this.
Okay.
It bothers me.
I understand why. I understand
He
why I
goes,
don't like
the
it.
electrified hang gliding heroes flew in and killed a bunch of hipsters partying. They were having so much fun at the party till these fucking heroes showed up and mass murdered everyone. Oh, and we liberated the kibbutz, by the way. Everyone's cheering. We liberated the kibbutz, a.k.a. beheading babies.
I will once again present to you the same exact question.
How is this guy supposedly crying over a reporter, but he can't show an ounce of sympathy here? Every time Ethan pulls up a new clip criticizing Hamas supporters, his son's just like, oh, I just can't see. Oh, well, where's my glasses at?
Popular political YouTuber.
I can't see anything.
Called Second Thought. Sorry, this.
Oh yeah, he's my friend. I like JT.
All right, well then, you tell me what you think about this. He said, "What's going on in occupied Palestine is unprecedented. No doubt we'll have wall."
Is it on? Wait, hold on. I don't have my glasses today.
It's just the.
I'm not gonna be able to see it. I just had to click on it so I can read it.
Bro, he's in the middle of reading it.
And here's the speech that one of the organizers has to say about the
What is
Hamas.
this? What?
Oh, you haven't seen this?
I can't see. Well, first of all, I can't see anything because I don't have my goddamn glasses. I
Here,
forgot.
I full screen it.
But also, secondly, I mean, yeah, I don't know what the fuck this is gonna be.
Translation, he doesn't know and he doesn't care. Hasan defends Hamas because Hamas and Palestinians are the same thing in his eyes, and oppressed people can't do anything wrong.
People try to make this distinction between Hamas and Palestinians. You are completely oblivious to the reality. Hamas is a Muslim Brotherhood fundamentalist cutout. It also happens to be the only popular form of governance amongst Palestinians. Do you want to know why that is the case? Do you want to examine the reason as to why Palestinians, who are comprised of incredibly diverse backgrounds, are now looking at a fundamentalist group of Islamists, for the most part, as their...
I'm going to crack on. Oh, shit. I didn't mean to close that down. Oh, that's fucking stupid. Right, 1 second. Sorry. Okay. So now let's go back and watch the debate. the fuck is going on with my internet? This is just abysmal. Oh, come on.
Frustrate me, and then I will have
You
to
want to
respond
debate
to
about
it.
a video you didn't even watch?
Why? Yeah, of course. You made the video. I'm
mean,
not
that-
like debating a random person about a video I didn't watch. You made the fucking video, so let's hear.
I know, but
what
that
your
kind of like
gripes
that kind
are.
of links up to like my big criticism with you, is that you don't actually put in the bare minimum effort to research anything before you jump to conclusions. That's why
so-
your tweet when you're like, "Hey, I want to debate Willie."
Do you really consider me watching a fucking dumbass YouTube video drama farming channel to be doing research? I don't need to
Yes,
do
if
research
this is what you're
on a
talking
video.
about. You're going into a topic you don't know anything about.
Brother, just
Immediately-
give
but
me
you
what
didn't
you
even
want to
watch it.
say. Give me what you want to say. The video's about me, isn't it? So
sure,
fucking
sure.
talk to me about what the fucking points of the video are, and let's discuss it. The fuck do you mean?
My main criticism.
Why would I have to research a video about myself? Like, oh,
because it
man, I
plays
can't
right
believe
into my
I have to
criticism.
I have
It's
to
like, I have
watch.
no doubt you didn't
I have to
watch it.
watch a fucking dumbass talk shit for 25 minutes
Jesus
and
Christ.
jerk off like all.
He immediately starts just insulting the person. You saw it with all those videos where the guy's like, hey, you leap into conclusions over the Al-Shifa hospital. You want genocide! You want every Palestinian murdered! You want to... It's like, and it's crazy. It's like, now it's like, oh, it's like, hey, what, have you done the research? Did you see my arguments? Why would I look at some dickhead? Why would I look at you? Fuck you. I'm not the... Like, what? It literally just reacts with anger when he gets pulled up on stuff. Oh, no, his chat saying. Like, I bet they love it.
That I've heard about myself over and over again. Incredibly stupid. Give me the fucking takes, and we'll talk about it. Okay, go
Yeah,
on.
news happens. You jump to wild conclusions, talking way too confidently.
Okay,
You
give me an
demonize
example.
everyone who
Pause.
disagrees with
Example.
you.
Give me an example.
All right,
Are you going to talk about...
Assad's trying to shut him down. Like, already we're starting to see some tactics. Like, he starts explaining his position, and Hassan's like, example. And it's like, it seems like he's just trying to shut him down. And also debate, bro. Like, he's trying a little debate tactic. I want examples, come on now. Which is fine. Like, it's fine to do that. It's just the way he's immediately, before WillyMax even got his argument out, Hassan's already, come on, shut up. Give me an example.
There was reports that Ukraine was going to be invaded by Russia. You confidently said no, it wasn't, despite all the reports. Then Russia invades. And then instead of apologizing and correcting the story, you then
Wait, I didn't apologize and correct the story?
You justify the invasion.
Wait,
right?
I didn't apologize and correct the story?
Let me finish my...
Wait, hold on.
This
No, this is important.
This is the pattern of behavior. This
Because
is
you
what my
said
video's
you...
about.
Wait. Hold on. You're the one who doesn't do his research because I did apologize and I did correct the record. You just didn't
apologized,
fucking
but
see
then
it.
You kind of walked it back too. It's
Wait,
in
no.
the video.
No. I very clearly apologized for it. You didn't see that because all you do is look at fucking clips.
It's in the video. It's in one of my videos.
So why did you just now bring it up as though I've never apologized?
Oh, this is so like Hasan. And then the worst part is when people call you out.
Why
on
did you
it,
just bring that up as I
you
never
claim
apologized
it's all
then?
out of context. when
Why
it's
did you
not.
just say I never apologized
you
for
did
it?
with out of
Why
context.
did you say I never apologized? Why did you just say
because
I never
you then
apologized?
justify more. You then make more outrageous claims.
I'm sorry. Why did you say
claims.
I never apologized if I did and you just repeated after I said no, I
Yeah.
did apologize. You moved the goalpost.
You
moved
moved
the
them.
goalpost and
You're-
you tried to fucking act like I was just
I
backtracking.
didn't move the goalpost, dude. This is exactly my
You did.
criticism.
You did. Stop saying this
If
is
you
exactly my
watch-
criticism. Okay, but
if
then your
you watch
criticism
the
is fucking
video,
stupid.
Your apology is in there.
Okay,
You
then
just
you're-
didn't watch it, so you're just making shit up right now. That's what you're
No,
doing. Watch the video because you don't research anything, which is the
Why
whole
would I
criticism.
watch a fucking stupid video
Because
that you
that's
made
the
when I'm
topic.
talking to you because the video is about me? You
That's
said
the topic
with
right now,
your
and you're
words
saying
that I didn't
do
actually
something that I
apologize.
did. You're saying
You
I
said
did
with
do
your
something
words.
that I did. Is this
You
what you're
said-
gonna do? You're gonna talk over me when I'm giving you the answer?
No.
I'm giving you a very straightforward answer. I did do that.
Okay.
I did cover
so
your
you
apology.
you said I did apologize, but it wasn't
Yeah,
good
and
enough
I
for you.
showed-
Yeah, and then he's doing it again. Yeah, but then then he starts doing the same shit again. Like, this was the problem with Hasan's Ukraine shit. It was mealy-mouthed and kind of, it seemed like his audience pressured him into agreeing that Russia was wrong to invade Ukraine. After he did that, like, ridiculous constant mockery of, I wouldn't even find that video, right, where he did constant mockery of all the people of US intelligence saying Putin was about to invade. And then he carries on constantly, again and again and again, leaping to conclusions. Did it with Ukraine, did it with Al-Shifa Hospital, does it like all the time, just leaping to conclusions and never really taking accountability. And as we saw in the last thing, when he finally gets pulled up and he goes, oh, well, I'm an idiot, why are you even taking me seriously? Or he insults people and just goes berserk with them. And it's super irresponsible because, again, he has a lot of people who look up to him, who respect his opinion, who are often very young and impressionable, and he's just not responsible in the way he covers things. And then he kind of does a half-hearted apology and goes back to the same tactics.
What are you saying?
You should have watched the apology video because I don't actually know how much he apologized.
Apologizing for making.
I think that might have been the Ukraine one. Let's get.
You're completely, like, fairly. Baseless claims, jumping to conclusions, and then you followed that up by making more baseless claims, jumping to conclusions.
Okay, go on. What are the baseless claims that I made that I jumped to conclusions on, even though you originally said I said that Russia would never invade Ukraine, which is true. I did say that because I did think that it would be an unimaginably stupid decision for Russia, okay, which I claimed would be impossible to occupy Ukraine, a country with 44 million people whose entire national independence movement has revolved. Was wrong.
It's always wrong. Russia was deploying units across the Ukraine border. U.S. intelligence said that they were going to invade. But Hasan and his intelligence team of absolutely no one says no.
And we got a lot to talk about. I was right about Ukraine. That's right. War is not imminent. Oh, shock.
I think maybe I'll tell my editors to do this, but I think I'll just change, like, I'll change this every day to Ukraine is still has... Russia still has yet to invade Ukraine. And it's like day 11 at this point, you know what I mean?
He'd post J-Station memes, making fun of people worried about the imminent invasion, and when his completely arrogant and baseless predictions would be proven wrong, he'd go out and make more arrogant and baseless predictions.
The reason why I'm saying a lot of the information that's coming out of the State Department is wrong or outright false is because what I'm showing you right now is literally people talking about, like, bombing Kiev. That is insane. That's psychotic.
That's exactly what happened. But nothing has been worse than his coverage of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Yeah. So we actually missed that bit. We should have watched it in the previous video. But yeah, that
literally trying to escape from Russia.
Right, you see it there, right? Terrible coverage, doesn't back down, right? So half backs down, half doubles down. So yeah. Well, okay, I was wrong, but the reason I was wrong is because, you know, there's all bullshit. Like, that's crazy. They're not going to bomb it. And it's just, you see what I mean? It's like, well, I was wrong, but I'm also not wrong, or I'm partially right, again, to be proven wrong. And it's, again, I think that's the theme, that he just doesn't accept responsibility.
For the most part, regardless of the Russian-speaking population in the Eastern Front, okay? Having said that,
I mean,
however,
this has nothing to do with what I said, though. This is all just random nonsense.
Yeah, because you're a fucking scumlord drama
the
farmer.
specifics,
Of course
you're
it doesn't have anything to do with anything. Because the specifics don't matter to you.
The specifics do matter.
Well, if they do, then when I describe...
Here, I got another one. Let's do this one, too.
There's an entire YouTube video called I Was Wrong About Ukraine. Like, there's literally...
and in that same video, you make more claims about...
Like what?
If I remember, I mean, this is a year ago I made
go
this
ahead.
video.
Go ahead.
I'm guessing
Like what?
you didn't watch that either.
Like what? Of course I didn't watch it.
So
Why would I
can we
watch a
watch it
fucking
on stream?
drama
'Cause I
farmer
gotta
who has
go
no
find it
understanding
now.
of geopolitical conflict?
You're all confused and butthurt that you're getting fucked up in it. Like, I don't know what to do.
I'm sorry. You fucking brainlet. Give me what the fucking
go on,
inconsistency
do your
was.
thing
You
where
made the video.
demonize.
You made the video. Give me the inconsistency or what you consider to be false information. Are you
it
having a
yet.
hard time without a script or without people fucking feeding you clips that you can
I'm doing
post?
pretty good, bro. Nobody's fed me anything.
Dude,
I
you're
got all the
killing
clips.
it. You're.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I've not like got a problem with somebody insulting somebody's debate performance in the middle of a debate, but I feel like Hasan's trying to tell people that he's winning, when I think it's quite clear that all he's doing is just shouting at this point. But he may make some great arguments. We're only 6 minutes in. From what I've heard, he doesn't.
You're killing it, dog.
We'll see.
Come on,
We'll see.
go
I'm
ahead.
not just
What's
gonna
the
trust
second
people on
point?
Twitter.
What is the lie that I told about Ukraine?
It's not a lie. It's just you made more claims. You made more basic.
Like what?
Claims.
What
I
is the
gotta go,
claim?
I gotta
Just
go
come
pull
on.
it up in the video because you didn't.
You didn't prepare for your own
watch
fucking. You didn't prepare where you were literally coming on here to talk about not Israel Palestine, mind you, but about Ukraine, and you didn't even fucking prepare with talking points.
I'll talk
Really?
to you about Israel Palestine. That'll be the next point. It's you doing the same thing.
Wait. Is Hasan being sarcastic because Willie Mac had a go at him? Because Hasan's response to, hey, did you prepare for this, was, oh my god, why am I going to watch some fucking asshole? Oh! You think I care what some dickhead says? So, like, he must be being sarcastic there and trying to...
Again.
Oh
Well, dude,
my
how
God.
do
No, he isn't. He isn't. When it's him, it's, oh my god, is anyone going to do any preparation to talk some fucking dickhead? Just make your arguments. And then when he's like, well, I didn't rewatch my Ukraine video from over a year ago. And then I was like, oh my god, oh, you didn't come prepared. Oh my god. The level of like hypocrisy and double standards is just hilarious.
Impromptu asked me
I'm
to
sorry,
a debate
Felix.
this minute. If I had a day to prepare, I would have everything. But you didn't. You just completely you blew
Dude,
this whole
it's your
thing up, so I
video.
got-
It's your video about me. These should be so simple for you to be like, this is where you lied. Just say
All
it.
right,
We
I
already
sent you the
established that the
video,
first thing.
but I'm
The
gonna
first
have
thing
to
you
find
did
the
was wrong.
timestamp. All right, you got to give me a minute.
Okay.
This
Are
is
you trying to
recent.
link
You
me your
haven't
video?
done
I'm
this
not gonna watch your
before.
video. Just say it with your mouth, with your words. Go ahead.
I have to watch my video to see what my receipt is because this is a year old. Right? I didn't know where
You
this
don't
whole
even know your own
conversation
video. You don't know the contents of your own fucking video.
Does Hasan know the
made it
content
a
of
year
it?
ago.
It's
You
everything he said from a
you
year
think
I
ago.
you're
like how
doing a
this
good
is
job
done
right
for
now?
you when instead
Do
of
you think
letting
you're
me
doing a good
find the
job right now,
receipt-
defending your position? Like it's
Yeah,
such a
I do,
profound
bro.
position.
You're doing
It's such a
exactly what I
profound
expect you to
position
do.
that you don't even fucking remember your own talking points. Oh my lord!
Dude, I'm trying to find your talking point.
This is the
I'm
this
trying
is
to
the
find your talking point.
I know. My talking points that you claim are wrong should be, in the chamber for you to fire off. You came on here because you thought, let's have a conversation about these fucking videos that I've made.
Do instantly right now, right when I was out.
Stop complaining. Give me the talking points. Come on.
No, look at
Stop.
me shift the goalposts around.
Stop complaining. Tell me what it was. Stop bitching. Tell me what it fucking was. You started the conversation by talking about Ukraine. Why did you bring up Ukraine if you weren't fucking ready to talk about it? Your
Bro,
first point that you brought up was that I never apologized
dude.
for it. I debunked it within fucking seconds.
Listed out and all the receipts right here, but you said get on now, Willie No Show.
Okay, go
Now
ahead.
I'm here,
Come
now
on,
I'm
Willie
pulling
No
up
Show.
the
Come on. What's the
All you're
second
doing
talking
is
point?
yelling in my ear while I'm pulling up the receipt.
Yeah, the thing is, Hasan is very clearly just trying to shut him down right now. Right? Hasan is very, very clearly just trying to avoid having to actually say anything. So don't say anything. So avoid letting Willie Mac make his points. Because he's shouting at him for not having the points. He wouldn't let him find the receipt. He's rushed him into a debate and said, Willie, no show. And he's like, can I have time to prepare? These are some quite dishonest tactics. But, yeah, good job. This guy deserves no respect. Didn't respect shit. Is he crying? You see, all of Hasan's fans look at Hasan and think, oh, yeah, Hasan's doing a really good job now. It's brilliant. But all he's done is scream at him so far.
No show. Give me the second talking point. If you're not this fucking
He
passionate,
tried to rush him through his arguments so he can't even make his points.
the subject, then you're basically admitting that you're a
When I
fucking
make my
bottom-feeding
video,
drama
no one will
farmer
be there,
who
and
has
you're
no
just gonna
interest
look
in.
retarded. Like, you're just gonna look retarded because I'm gonna pull it up in when I make my video.
Pull it up. Pull it up. Stop fucking complaining about it after the fact. Go ahead. I'm here. All right now. If you are genuinely interested in truth and research or whatever, you have this wonderful opportunity. You have this wonderful opportunity to ask me personally.
To pull it up. I'm trying to listen, but I'm hearing you twice. Once from my video and once from you just bitching in my ear.
Oh my god.
So you gotta wait. Yeah, that's how research
This is the greatest brain power we got, folks.
You want me to just move on from this?
All right, I'm muting myself. Go ahead, watch your video, and then you can come back, okay? Holy moly, dude. Jeez, Lord mercy. I muted myself. He can't hear me, so he can find his own talking points in his own fucking videos. Jesus Christ, dude.
I didn't even get to any of my moderator questions.
I know.
Like, what points has Hasan done though, other than shout at him and kind of try to front like a debate, bro? Like, Hasan seems like desperate to shut him down. He shouldn't have gone like. I probably wouldn't. If I was him, I would have like moved on to something. Gone, okay, I mean, I can look it up, but.
Every time Felix is here, we got to do a fucking. We have to have the conversations like this. It just has to happen. I love that he's like, I don't remember my talking points. I have to watch my own YouTube video.
Well, I was going to suggest like a new topic. I was gonna like, if you don't want to watch the video, while talking to him and he doesn't have the Google Doc. I was actually gonna ask a series of questions about Amy Schumer.
Oh, no, Amy Schumer. We can't do that.
My questions are fine. They're like no one in the world who would think they're bad. They're not.
All right,
bad.
I got it.
All right, he's got it. All right, let's hear it.
I got it.
All right. Thank you, Willie
your
Mac No Show.
Was you said people? You said let me watch this one more time.
Bro.
It was in your video. I was wrong about Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
And you said people are acting like Kiev's getting bombed, like that would never happen, and then it's literally did happen.
Okay.
So you just again making more you're making your apology video about being wrong and making baseless claims that you know nothing about.
This is your take.
Wrong. It's a pattern of behavior.
This is your.
Look at Hasan's face. He saw that he came back with actually like something like quite good, and now he's like, "Oh, this is your take? Oh, how pathetic." Like, I kind of feel bad for. I don't really know Willie Mac. I've not watched his shit before. I kind of feel bad for him because this has just got to be so annoying. That Hasan's just gonna act like an idiot, like he's an idiot. Treat him like he's an idiot, not respond to any of his points. And then like he makes it like a genuinely good point against Hasan, and Hasan's like, oh my god, that's your point?
Take from February 22nd, 2022.
Yeah,
another thing that I was
again. You've done it since then.
I've done it since then. People are acting like Kiev's getting bombed. It did happen. You're right about that.
Did,
I also do you think that I didn't cover? Wait, hold on. Do you think that I didn't cover Kiev getting bombed? Like I hid that or something?
No, you did, but it's your accusation saying it doesn't, saying it won't happen. There's no way it'll happen.
Yeah. Do you think that bombing Kiev specifically, it was what Russia did? Do you think that was a good thing for Russia to do?
I didn't say.
Do you think that it was a? Do you have any genuine opinions?
I think it was a good thing.
Do you have any genuine opinions about?
Yeah, my opinion
Russia's
is that was bad.
in the
my opinion on that is that you shouldn't be talking about shit.
Brother, hold up. We're having a conversation about Ukraine and Russia. We're having a conversation about Ukraine and Russia, and I'm asking you a specific question. I'm asking you a specific question.
My conversation's about you, because my videos are about you and your pattern of behavior and your poor reporting, and now you're trying to shift it all these other ways because you know you can't face the truth. Russia had not bombed Kiev at the time. That's number one. Number two, of course, as soon as that did happen, I covered it. Of course I did. Because
see, zero responsibility taken. Zero responsibility taken. It wouldn't even be so bad if he was like, you know what? You can't stream, I get emotional, I make mistakes, I shouldn't have done that, but there's no, he's like, oh my god, I covered the bombing, what's your problem? It's a consistent pattern of irresponsibility, and then when that irresponsibility is proven, or just a complete refusal to then accept responsibility, to then be responsible. Yeah, that's just it. It's just a complete refusal to behave in a responsible manner and to cover things in a responsible way.
That's what I'm doing.
The criticism isn't that you didn't cover it. The criticism is that you're making baseless claims you don't know anything about, talking so confidently, as if you got a whole fucking research team behind you. When you don't, you're talking out your ass. This is the
brother. Do you have a whole research team behind you? Because
it's
you're not.
Me. I actually did research just now, and you could barely be patient enough to sit there and listen through it. You had to go ahead
it's a video. You made a video a year ago about me talking about my opinion on Russia and Ukraine. You personally do not have an opinion on Russia or Ukraine at all. I have taken accountability on my. I've taken accountability on the things that I've reported wrong.
You should do the research. If I'm not willing to
I
talk
have
about
taken
Trisha
accountability
Paytas,
on the
but
things
doing
that I have
research,
reported
why
wrong
are you
on.
reporting in wars when you can't do the
Willie
most
No
basic
Script.
shit?
Listen to me. I've taken accountability on the things that I have said that are incorrect. Of course, on the editorial perspective, on the editorial side of my coverage, okay, on the editorial side of my coverage, if I make a prediction or a speculation, it can sometimes be wrong. That speculation is always going to be on foundational
He was laughing at people who were saying, he was laughing consistently at the idea that Russia was going to invade Ukraine. He was constantly saying that all of the intelligence was wrong. Then when he was proven wrong, he was laughing at people saying, to try and save face very clearly, was laughing at people saying Kiev was going to be bombed.
That is solid.
I got another one too. Hey, I got just more examples.
Do you have an issue with it? Do you have an issue with my analysis of the situation? Because I can't possibly do research on things that haven't happened yet. I can simply speculate.
You just make it up.
And
you
this
just make up stuff.
Do you think when I say, guys, I don't think that Russia will bomb Kiev is actually, in your opinion, like me making up something, or do you think it's speculation?
That's not how he said it.
No, the clip is actually you talking really condescendingly about people who think that could happen. That's the clip.
Okay, but you're, okay. You don't.
Yeah,
so is this all just tone policing? Is that what it is?
You're talking about.
Is this all? So all of this is just you personally tone policing the way I'm covering the fucking news?
Policing. It's about your.
Do you have any genuine interest or any curiosity in like Russia and Ukraine at all, or is all you do fucking drama farming off of clips? Because over the course of this entire conflict, I've dedicated tens or hundreds of hours into my coverage, and the analysis in and of itself comes from a solid foundation. Now, the predictions might be wrong, and it certainly was, which is something that I took accountability for, even though you said I had not. So here's my question to you.
You really didn't. You then just did the same mistake again. You did the same criticism again.
Did you look into, what sources I was looking at and where I was getting this opinion from?
Yeah,
because
there were sources and
beyond just like looking at
looking
at YouTube clips and regurgitating talking points, specifically that you've heard from other like neoliberal commentators and whatsoever. Neoliberal commentators is the same fucking 5 clips that you are going to present here.
You think Destiny is secretly behind this? Is this what you're crying about right now? Is this what you're saying?
Does it sound like I'm
it does. You just said, it does. You're talking about stuff that doesn't matter.
Brother,
you're trying to shift the goalposts away
said
from the criticism, which is your poor reporting. You bring me on to debate.
Yeah, okay. So the Willie Mac guy seems to be doing a bit better now. Initially, I thought like the fact he had to go off and look up the thing like that didn't help him. I don't think it was his fault, but it didn't help him. But he's like nailing Hasan down now.
He picked the debate topic, and now you won't engage. It's incredibly frustrating.
I am trying to engage with you. I'm trying to engage with you. I'm trying to engage with you in good faith as best as I possibly can. And all you've done so far is go through your YouTube video to be like, well, you said Kiev wasn't being bombed, and actually it wasn't at the time, but then it got bombed afterwards. Listen, let me finish. Okay, you said Kiev wasn't being bombed. At the time, it wasn't. Okay. And then you said, okay, well, guess what? Guess what, dude? Your tone was off. Okay. Well, my tone was off. You don't like it. But you haven't brought up, I was being condescending. You haven't brought up the actual research or the actual analysis that led to these conclusions. Part of the reason why you haven't done that is because you have no idea what these sources are.
Since you're just talking in circles on this, can I just go to the next one?
I'm not talking in circles on this
You are.
whatsoever, but go ahead. Let's talk about the next point.
The next one.
But for the record, I am not clairvoyant. I cannot predict the future. I cannot predict the future.
No, I
So
know.
I just want to point that out.
But it's you talking on breaking news, like you know what the fuck's gonna happen and you don't. You're talking completely out of line. So,
Wait,
all right,
wait,
the
wait,
missile hit.
hold up.
Can I just go to the next point?
Hold up. On what may happen, okay, in the future is not always going to be correct. Everybody understands this.
It's usually wrong, yeah.
It's usually wrong. The only example you brought over...
The CIA is why Iran bombed the U.S. base, bro.
Do you know how many... Do you know how many hours...
Protesters are
do you
taking
know
down
how
pictures
many
of
hours...
Israelis is because it's a psyop to make Palestinians look bad.
Wait, hold on. What base are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about with the Iranian thing. What?
Iran struck a U.S. base. And then you said it.
To slightly fair to Hasan, whilst that position on the posters is fucking stupid, that is a position I've seen all over Twitter. So I don't think Hasan's alone in that ridiculous take.
It's the CIA. No shot. It's the CIA. Complete because you're like, oh, there's a nuclear deal. Why would Iran do that? No way. No shot. 100% confidence. Iran then takes credit for it, and then you coat-mauled and seethe to your audience.
Wait. I'm so...
I know, you don't know because you spew so much bullshit all the time you can't even remember what
perhaps the reason for why you are maybe the reason why I'm confused and the reason why you're a little bit confused on this is because in every single circumstance, every single thing that you've brought up, there's almost always a correction that comes after the fact. You, on the other hand, do not see the correction, or you, on the other hand, see the 30 second to 2 minute videos, which is enough for you to try and develop a consistent
narrative.
This
is from your whole live stream, by the way. I'm watching everything in context. This is cope from you saying that this is out of context. It's the same shit Andrew Tate does and the Red Pillars do to me, claiming everything's out of context when it's not. That was your opinion at the time. You said those words. They came out of your own mouth. Go through the reason.
Can I ask you something? Can I ask you something really quickly? Okay. One. This is important for you to comprehend.
I'm sure.
Do you think that over the course of thousands of hours of coverage, okay, of coverage, especially when something is like being immediately brought to my attention, okay, which I don't even know what you're talking about, but
I know.
I don't remember what you're talking about. But over the course of thousands of hours of coverage, when I, for example, read something in the chat and respond to it, okay, do you think that this is like reporting, or do you think that I'm giving like immediate commentary?
Breaking news you cover. This isn't a random chat comment. This is breaking news that's happening.
Okay.
I think what most people, you should do what most people do. And wait for the story to be out there before you start spurging out and making wild accusations. Here, can I go to the next one?
You need to limit your, TOS worthy takes here. This isn't fucking YouTube or whatever.
What TOS did I break?
You can't use, unfortunately, and I used to do this in the past as well. You can't use ableist language, but go on.
Oh, like the R word? I got you. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad that you're a fan, though.
Well, yeah, I don't. This is your job. I don't want to ruin that. So, for instance, like the missile hit the Gaza hospital, both sides blamed each other. That's the breaking news, right? And instead of waiting for more information, you jumped to conclusions saying it was 100% Israel. 100%.
Okay.
You were so confident.
Good point.
All the chatters.
Good point. Can I ask you a question?
Can I go through the whole thing before you go?
No. Hold on. This is important. This is important. No, we're not jumping. We're talking about this. Okay? We're talking about this specific thing. Finally, now we're talking about Israel and Palestine. When I said that, I didn't just go, oh, I have no other opinion on this matter. I simply think Israel definitely did this because I want Israel to have definitely done this. The reason why I said this, and you do this regularly, okay? When I say something on this stream, okay, oftentimes, especially if it's
Did you
a
watch the
developing
video?
story.
Like, how do you know I say this stuff?
Especially if it's a developing story, when I say something on an issue that is happening, I look to all of the circumstantial evidence on the matter, and I look to everything else that is going on thus far. Now, we're two adult individuals here. Do you?
I love that he didn't say any clear sources. He just said, I look at the circumstantial evidence and, everything that's going on. Right? He didn't actually, give any, I would immediately go and look at a journalist. I would look at what security sources, what, security and intelligence sources are saying. He was just I'll look at everything.
Do you think it is unfair to say Israel blew up the hospital, like Israel bombed the hospital?
I think when there's a claim like that, you wait for information, right? I mean, there's a million things.
The information is that there was.
Can I respond? There's a million things to criticize the IDF for that's right out there, right? You know this. I've seen you do it all day on stream. You get them on shit that they 100% deserve. But when there's something like that, and instead of waiting for reports, while the report is literally Israel and Hamas blame each other, right? You don't know what the story is. You don't know if they did it or not. And you say 100%, they 100% did it. That's a huge disaster, bro. That's
at that point, first of all, who do you think blew up the hospital? The hospital courtyard, rather. Who do you think bombed the hospital courtyard?
I think most investigations point towards it being either the Islamic Jihad or Hamas, right? It's like a misfired rocket. And then what you did in response to that was, instead of being I think since most of the reports are going this way.
Why do you think it's wait, hold on. Why do you think it's Hamas or Islamic Jihad and a rocket misfire?
Well, that was just what most of the investigations turned out.
So
I know Channel 4 had a different one.
Because you're bringing this up, and this is really important to understand. One, all of the circumstantial
you say that
evidence
every time, but it never is.
Okay, all of the circumstantial evidence at the time, of course, after the 6,000 bombs that Israel had dropped on Gaza, a densely populated open-air prison, the 6,001st bomb, understandably, was going to be an Israeli bomb. To this day, we still do not know whether this was an Islamic Jihad rocket that was misfired, or whether or not this was actually an artillery shell that might have hit a fuel tank, or even some other kind of munition that Israel may have deployed.
So why did you say it was
now,
100%
the reason why,
Israel and then call everyone genocidal freaks that disagree with you?
This is the way, it's right. Have you noticed how Hasan makes his disagreements sound so reasonable? He makes it sound as if all he did was say, hey, based on the evidence, Israel's bombing, I think this looks like an Israeli bomb. He didn't. He was he sat there doing comparisons with JDAMs, saying, look, this is clearly what it is. He was literally calling people genocidal dickhead murderers, saying they want all Palestinians dead, for questioning him, for arguing against what he was saying. He's been very, it's kind of the same as when he got in that debate with Ethan, and he just super downplayed A, his own views, and B, the extreme views of his audience and supporters.
Content beyond
demonize them
because first of all, because they are.
You do every time,
because the Israeli government is genocidal. What the fuck are you talking about, you dumb fuck? 4,500 children have been ruthlessly slaughtered. You think that's not genocidal? The one hospital might. Wait, Willie, shut the fuck up and listen.
Genocidal is when you try and kill. We said that earlier when we watched the Piers Morgan thing. Genocidal is when you're trying to eradicate a people. What Israel's doing is in Gaza is really bad. Okay, it's not genocide though.
Do you really think that if one fucking hospital wasn't bombed by Israel and this was a fucking actual misfire, that all of a sudden means that Israel's not doing ethnic cleansing?
Right now, you're doing it in real time.
Dude, just fucking answer my question. Do you think that the ethnic cleansing campaign, if you take out the bombing, okay? If you take out the one time that this hospital's bombed, Okay, if you take that out, do you think out of the equation, do you think Israel is all of a sudden not doing ethnic cleansing in Gaza?
No, that's not what I said. This is what you're trying to
I'm
make me
asking
say.
you. I'm
I
asking
didn't-
you. Okay, then
I just said no. And
okay, good.
Dude,
I'm
what
glad. I'm
saying
glad.
is that
Okay,
people
so what's
look
your
at the reports and,
okay?
and it
Got it.
matters
Got it. Got it.
if
Got it. No,
they're
no,
right or wrong,
got
right?
it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
People
Got
look
it.
at
Got
the
it.
reports,
Got it.
and you
Willie.
go ahead and they side with it. You
Willie.
should continue to call them
Willie.
genocidal, even though that's the fact of the info. That's what most of the info says.
When I cover these
You
kinds
ignore
of
the
stories,
news, bro. That's the point. You just like lie and come up with your own shit.
ignore the news. You ignore the rest of the fucking coverage because on the day of the hospital bombing, I personally said, okay, that the highest likelihood of this hospital being bombed is from
No, you also
Israel.
said it was 100%.
Just shut the fuck up and
That's what
listen,
you did,
okay?
bro.
Shut
look,
up.
shut up and listen to Hasan completely misrepresent what happened.
Listen.
Shifting the goalpost. Keep saying
Listen,
more
I'm
shit.
not shifting the fucking goalpost. It's my own coverage.
are.
I'm giving you additional feedback. If you actually genuinely cared about the truth instead of fucking clip chimping and drama farming, you would
It's not
understand
clip
that on
chimping.
that
It's like
same
right there.
day,
You could go
on
watch
that
the full
same
clip. It's in my
day,
video.
on that same day, over and over again, I said the highest probability of this is that this is an Israeli bombing campaign. Part of the reason why I said that,
You also said that
and
was
I
the
also
highest
mentioned
probability
multiple times.
after the investigation.
I also
which
mentioned
the investigations don't agree with you.
I also
and you still double
mentioned
down on that
multiple
point.
times. I also mentioned multiple times.
You just
that
again
the
ignored what I
reason-
said.
Dude, just listen to what I'm saying.
Well, you're
I know it
saying's
doesn't.
irrelevant,
I know
though.
it
You're
doesn't
just saying
correspond.
Willie Max actually doing a way better job than I thought. From what I've heard, he's like a video essayist. I don't think he does debates. So, and like initially, it seemed to be off to a shaky start, but like he seems to be like really like kind of doing a good job of taking taking Hasan to task on his dishonesty and all of this stuff. Although to be fair, because of the way Hasan's going about this, of kind of just insulting him, of trying to use this of trying to shut down everything he says, of trying to move on, you're not really getting a proper discussion of what Hasan does. It's kind of just Hasan throwing insults out, and then Willie being like, "No, what? You're not going to answer that?" So.
No, it's not irrelevant because you're making a video. You're making a video to massage
right.
a certain narrative, to create a certain narrative.
It's a
okay?
true narrative. It's like
to create a certain
100%
narrative,
right.
and that narrative, when it doesn't
You can't even
correspond to the
disprove it
narrative
right
you're
here
trying to
when I'm
make,
telling it to your face.
when it doesn't correspond to the narrative you're trying to make, you go, "Oh, it's irrelevant." Of course, it's not irrelevant. Do you think that my coverage of this bombing is irrelevant? Why are you fucking
No,
making a
it's
video
actually- it's
about a
actually what I'm
30-second sliver of the content if you don't
that
actually?
you jump to conclusions, and now you're saying, "Yeah, I did," but like, look at this 1.8 hours in.
Willie,
after I said it was
Willie,
100%
it's not
true,
8 hours
I
in.
actually
It's not
said
8
it
hours
was
in.
mostly
It's not
likely.
8 hours in. It is not 8 hours in. What
It
will
is.
it take for you to go, okay, you know what? I was actually wrong. He actually had a much more even-handed approach to the subject matter.
If
Or
my
have you
take
already
was-
made your
yeah.
preconceived biases
No, it's
and you're
not. It's
simply
like the
looking to
facts.
reinforce
It's the
them?
facts of what happened, and you have yet to disprove it. If my criticism is
I said on the day of the bombing,
Willie, what have
Willie,
you done to
Willie,
disprove that? You jump
I
into
said
conclusions.
on the day of the bombing,
Yes.
of the bombing, I
Yes,
said
like the most hilarious part. Like it's
the
the day
only-
this is breaking news, and
Yes.
you jump to the conclusion that's 100%.
You're right. After
Out of your
6,000
mouth.
bombs, the 6,001st bomb, I should have been like, guys, hold on. Let's not
You
talk
just
about
call
this.
everybody genocidal.
Shut the fuck up and
That's
listen.
what you do.
Shut up and listen, dumbass.
Go on.
Listen.
Oh, go on.
Okay, thank you. Holy fuck, you're just simply proving how bad faith you are and you don't give a shit.
I'm not.
Yes,
You're
I'm covering
not
the fucking
engaging.
news.
You don't
yes,
engage.
I'm covering the news. In
Yes.
America, when we have like
bad way.
mass shootings and whatnot happening, I have a policy of usually not diving headfirst into that news coverage because
That's not
it is
true at
not
all.
the
You
same
titled
as
your
the
shit then.
consistent war coverage. The only reason why I usually talk about whatever kind of breaking story is happening, this is
You
not the
just
same for
cover
Israel,
a
and it's not.
Look, I fucking hate watchers. Who's he talking to? This drama rando is so annoying. It's like, look,
Not the same for
and this is what I mean. Like, unfortunately, Hasan's audience are just going to fall for this, and I think Hasan knows it. Because Hasan, it's this constant acting, like he's just making these great points and trying to win the debate against an idiot, when actually all he's doing is being evasive and insulting him. That's all he's doing. That's it.
Listen to me.
who are we
Listen to
kidding
me.
here?
The only thing I cover in situations like that is whatever the mainstream media has reported on. Oftentimes, we just simply look at the live stream of the police force when they are talking about how many victims are there. That's it. Now, having said that, is that the case for Israel? No, it's not. Is that the case for Ukraine? No, it's not. And it wasn't. Okay? And in that circumstance, there are times where, of course, I'm going to get certain things wrong. But this is an 8-hour news coverage. If you look at a 30-second, if you look at a 30-second broadcast,
criticism. It's not 30 seconds. You keep saying that. It's
okay,
not
if
30
you look at a
seconds.
5-minute portion of a fucking
you're fucking
brother. You're not listening to what I'm saying.
By Israel.
On the very
Gaza
same
hospital bombed by Israel. 800 people dead.
He also started screaming at anyone who disagreed with him. And fuck me! I don't know if that was just an accident of where I paused it. I need to screen grab that. That's like fucking great. I could have used that in the screenshot.
That was your.
God damn it! I've got to use that as. Oh fuck! No, it went on too far. Wait.
Same bombed by Israel. 800 people
No,
dead.
I'm never going to get it again. Alright, that's good. Sorry, I should just remember the timestamp, but fuck it, I've got one viewer at the moment. I'll cut this out when I upload it. Download this, please.
That was your stream. What did I do to title it that? I didn't do that.
Okay.
I didn't clip that out of
Can
context.
you please listen to me? Can 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 you please listen to me?
What will I have to show you for you to own up to this criticism?
Okay, because you're not listening to what I'm trying to say. First of all, I never said 800.
What you're saying is irrelevant. You're just going
That's
on
so
about
fucking stupid.
random shit.
Okay, I was literally repeating what the BBC coverage was. Not only that, but also because I don't have a direct on the ground. Shit. I wasn't.
Well, was did the BBC? Hold on, I might have this wrong. All right, did the BBC say it was 100% Israel when they blamed each other?
The BBC's original assessment, yes, was that it was most likely an Israeli bombing.
Yeah, but they blamed each other in investigations.
No. That was literally the reason why they had to rescind the coverage. That was the reason why they had to rescind the coverage and apologize for it. But also, what you're failing, you didn't do your research. Shut the fuck up. What you're also failing to fucking comprehend here in your dense ass mind is that, once again, and I repeat myself, I said, here is what I will believe. Here is what I will believe. If there's a third-party investigation, given the fact that Israel has lied routinely about the bombing campaign, and
this sounds a lot like a caveat that he's just adding at the end. Again, we saw in the previous things, I'm not going to pull it up again, that the way he was just screaming at anyone, calling them genocidal, who was saying, stop concluding. And people are like, bro, you jumping to conclusions, just like, we don't know what's going on, stop concluding. And he's like, you genocidal fucking, you want every Palestinian dead. And it's like, what? It was insane. It was insane, this shit. And I was just acting like, no, I was very careful. It was immensely irresponsible. It was irresponsible on the Ukraine shit. He repeatedly and consistently reports on shit in a super irresponsible manner. And now he's here just trying to evade, right? Use a series of immature insults like he normally does, and then never ever even consider accepting any responsibility. And of course, his audience are fucking eating it up.
In that very same morning, the Israeli Air Force said we had no bombing campaigns happening in the region.
Investigations.
We have no bombing. Just listen, okay? We have no bombing campaigns in the region. Bombing in that region, actually, as a matter of fact. That's number one. Number two, Israel also personally brought forward inconsistent testimony, inconsistent statements as to why this was definitely an Islamic Jihad rocket, okay? And the reason why we're having this conversation and how it's so fucking stupid, okay, it's so insanely idiotic, is because Israel is currently, while we're having this conversation, sieging the main hospital in Gaza. Israel, at that point, had 420 medical incidents, according to the World Health Organization. If you get your fucking news through clips, you are not going to understand why I said what I said. including that unless there is an actual third-party on-the-ground investigation, I will, of course, believe, given the circumstantial evidence mounted, that this is yet another Israeli bomb or some type of Israeli munitions, that I'm going to assume that, yes, Israel blew up this hospital just like it had blown up the cancer ward at that very same hospital 2 days prior. Did you see that part of the coverage? No, you didn't.
You know what you're doing right now and what you just did? All right? I criticized you for jumping to conclusions, right? Which, by the way, a lot of streamers didn't. A lot of news streamers didn't, right? I would have been down to make videos on them. Some did, but a lot didn't, right?
No, you wouldn't, dumbass. You only do this because it gets you fucking views. You don't give a shit about Israel.
All you did was justify justify why
Israel claimed that the BBC was doing
That's pretty rich from Hasan. Like, I mean, I know Hasan does care. I'm not saying he doesn't care at all. But most of what Hasan does is just to get views and pander to his audience, right? And that's why he says insane shit. That's why he acts like this when people challenge him. Like, come on.
Blood libel.
This is what you just said. All you did right there was justify why you should be able to report things badly. And then you dismissed it all saying, well, Israel's attacking Gaza right now, so none of it matters if I got it wrong.
Because, of course,
it's fucking
because
embarrassing.
the point that you're trying to argue here without actually saying it.
The point is that you should just wait and fucking do a good
Fuck,
job.
look at Hasan.
Dog.
Hasan's getting angry now.
Concrete
Like,
statements you know nothing about. That's...
I think he realises he looks bad, but the problem is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, bad faith haters for secretly fans, we should hang up. Here's the show, is he a right winger? Bro, it's BBC justified dude has a little kid. Like, whether you were clueless. So, it actually doesn't matter. All of this front at least appears to be just loved by Hasan's followers. Especially in a way, Hasan doesn't even really need to get angry. Like, what's the point?
Okay.
His followers are going to lap it up anyway. Listen
to me.
I'm losing my mind, bro, because it's just
First
like
of all,
constant,
you're holding me to a
a
fucking higher standard than the fucking BBC, which the Israeli
No,
government
I'm
said
not.
was
They
blood
actually
libel
apologized.
for
They actually
arriving at the same
rescinded
fuck.
They
You know why I didn't
actually
apologize?
rescinded their thing and said,
You know why I didn't
"My bad."
apologize?
You haven't done that.
You want to know why I didn't apologize? You want to know why I didn't apologize? Do you care?
Why don't you let me
Do you
talk?
care? Do you want me to tell you why I didn't apologize?
I know why you didn't apologize, because you never do. You always double down.
No,
or skip the goal.
I don't apologize.
This is
I don't
what you always
apologize.
do.
That's
You always
crazy
skip
because
the
you said I never
goalpost.
apologized about being wrong about Ukraine, but I did,
Yeah,
and you
yeah, and
fucking
then you-
lied and said that,
But
oh
you
well,
make- I didn't
actually you
lie.
were just
It's
backing
very
away.
consistent. I'm very consistent with it.
Yeah, but yeah, he doesn't apologise for the way he covers stuff. He just goes, oh, I was wrong about that and moves on, right?
Yeah, you're
He makes a
consistent.
series of excuses for why he was wrong and then moves on. He never at any point goes, you know what, I should be more careful, I shouldn't jump to conclusions.
Wrong, you dense fuck. Listen.
I haven't. You don't even watch the videos. How would you know if
Why
I'm
would
wrong?
I
You
watch
don't
your
even watch
dumbass
the
drama
video. It's
farming
crazy.
videos? You don't give a shit about anything. You don't give a shit about this conflict.
right
You don't
here.
give a shit
You
about
not
this
watching my
beyond it
videos.
pushing your fucking
You
personal.
not watching my videos is the same level of reporting that you give Israel and Gaza. It's the same level of reporting that you give Ukraine.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If you think
minimum effort in,
yeah,
and just
you are
watch the shit.
revealing,
Just
you're
watch
revealing how stupid you are by claiming that watching a fucking YouTube video is the same as like reading news reports
I'm
and
not
talking
saying
to
it's the same. I'm
on-the-ground
saying
journalists
you-
and forensic analysts.
No, I'm not. I'm saying you.
No, he's saying you're covering this guy, you're criticising Willy, right? You're having a go at him. You're saying everything he's saying about he's wrong, and you want to debate him, and you didn't even watch his fucking videos to see what the claims he was making were. Although, I kind of wonder, did Hasan watch it, and he just wants to pretend he didn't, because he knows he got it. He knows he looks really bad,
You
and
do it for a drama video.
I'm
You won't
losing
do
my
it for
fucking
anything.
mind. Why would I
You never
care
do
about
it.
your drama video, dumb fuck?
Yeah, you do.
He obviously cares.
I invited.
He obviously cares. He was on Twitter fucking shitting on the dude, calling him all kinds of names. Now he totally like, oh, this is fucking ridiculous. Hasan is so dishonest. It's actually like, it actually is beyond a joke. Like, he's the biggest political streamer. Again, he has a young audience of impressionable people who look up to him. And he's got, look at his based Hasan, yeah. And it's like, he recovers the news, right, in a completely responsible way when he leads to conclusions. He insults anyone who goes, well, be careful here, you could be wrong, and starts screaming at them. And then, when he's pulled up on it, all he has is, like, evasion, deflection, and insults.
You on?
That's it. That's all he's got. And then fronting like he's winning a debate when he's basically made no points.
I invited you on because I thought that you genuinely had a perspective that it was at odds with mine on Israel-Palestine. You
Yeah,
said,
perspective-
never mind,
hold on,
it's
let me
not
get
what we're
my
going to talk
pal-
about.
can I
We're going
get
to
my
talk about my
perspective on
videos that I've
Israel-Palestine?
made on you. So
Can I get my
now we're
perspective on
stuck
Israel-Palestine?
having this fucking stupid conversation. When I cover shit like this,
the debate would be about if you just watch the video.
Willie,
Of course,
Willie.
classic hospitality
Okay.
journalism.
All right. I'll ask you
journalism.
questions. I'll ask you questions. In your video, do you, I don't know, at any point bring up any of the resources that I'm using, like including the BBC, which you said?
Yeah, I showed the tweet you used. Yeah, I did. I showed the
Which
tweet you used of a missile striking the ground, going, doesn't that look like a JDAM? That actually looks a lot like a JDAM. That's your epic reporting. Those
my
are your
God.
epic sources, bro.
Yes. My epic sources. That was the only verified video of the strike at the time. What are
I
you
know,
talking about?
like, you're a
Do you know where I got
missiles
that?
expert, though. Like, you know how to
Do you know where I got that
interpret
video
at
from?
all.
Do you know where I got that video from?
Where?
It doesn't matter where he got the video from. Like, the point is, he was basically, he had one video up and he sat there telling his followers that we can be pretty clear that this is a JDAM. Like that, with no qualifications, with no knowledge, with no anything. That is what the fucking issue was. Jesus. Like, this, again, it's hard to know if Hasan is just being dishonest. Like, when he acts... Like, it's hard to know whether Hasan actually, like, just couldn't be bothered to watch it, or if actually he knew he'd probably get owned, and this was his tactic to just come out. Because it seems like all he wants to do is shut down... completely shut down anything Willie's saying and use insults. It's actually getting annoying. It's kind of annoying covering this because, like, it's the same thing. It's the same fucking thing every time. Willie's like, hey, you're doing terrible reporting. You're not being responsible. And so I was like, oh, what about all the times I apologise? Did you cover this? Do you not think I'm using it? You know, and it's like, oh my God, you're losing this debate, bro. You're doing so badly. Oh, Willie, you're such a bad debater.
The Washington Post. That's where I got that video from.
Yeah, but you don't know how to interpret what that missile is.
That's really interesting
you're
you
just
say that
sitting
because
there
at the time
saying
I was
it's a JDAM.
talking
You have
at
no
the time.
fucking clue.
That's really
You don't know
interesting
where it is,
because at the
what's it mean.
time I was
I know, at the time you
talking to open source intelligence people and also forensic analysts. That's what I was doing, and I still do when I'm reporting on this kind of thing.
Which
especially
ones?
when it's outside
Which ones? Say which ones.
Side of my immediate expertise or whatever. I go to people that are making real-time assessments. One of the things that I'm sure you didn't mention was the GeoConfirmed Twitter thread. The GeoConfirmed Twitter thread that originally was incredibly viral pointed to this
all
being
exonerate you for jumping to conclusions?
no,
It seems like it
dumbass.
doesn't. Yeah,
Over the
so
course
that's
of
the
8
criticism, so
hours,
you're
I am
shifting the
parsing through
topic.
misinformation.
You're shifting the topic
Over
to
the
completely
no, I'm
random
not.
things.
I'm not shifting.
You know
We're
what?
still talking about this bombing. We're still talking about this bombing.
By the way, hold on. Can we move on? Because this is just circles. You're just
Wait,
repeating
whoa. No, we're not fucking moving on just because you feel
Okay,
like
go on.
this conversation is
It's
completely
going
out of
round and
fucking
round in
depth.
circles where, like, Willie criticises the reporting and then Hasan evades and insults it. Like, yeah, it is going round in circles and it is even getting kind of boring watching. It's like, this looks fun. And I'm like, literally, oh shit, the clips on Twitter basically summarise the whole thing. Because this seems to be all it is.
Because you only
It's
look
not.
at
It's
clips.
Very basic. The
Because
conversation
you only
is
look at clips.
You jump to
Listen.
conclusions, and then you jump to conclusions, and now you justify why you
One
should be
thing
able
that
to
I
do
do,
that. That's
one
what
thing
this
that I do
conversation is.
in breaking news stories is to parse through, okay, all of the information that is
really?
accumulating online that is going viral.
Yeah, I'm passing. Actually, my job is to pass all this stuff, to pass all of the information. Yeah, if you were doing that, you would do it in a more impartial way. For a start, if I'm trying to pass the news information, I'm not going to be leaping to conclusions and calling people genocidal for telling me to slow down and wait for more evidence. That's probably not what I'm going to be doing. Oh my God, it's definitely this. Yeah. You can see clearly it's a JDAM. What? You don't agree with me? You're genocidal. You want every single Palestinian baby to be killed by Israelis. That was what he was doing. That was what was fucking irresponsible. I feel frustrated for this Willie dude. This Willie was getting so annoyed with this. I'm getting annoyed watching it.
Some fucking psychotic right-wing weirdo will turn around and be like, oh, the mass shooter actually is trans or whatever the fuck, right? Now, in this circumstance, I can't believe we're still talking about this, by the way, because every single information, every single piece of information that Israel, as the official account, has brought forward has been an abject lie.
Hasan, I got a question,
that have been disproven by the very same authorities that you claim are totally on board. Okay, are totally saying like no, it definitely has to be an Islamic Jihad rocket. Every single person I've talked to, every single person I've talked to, from forensic analysts that work at the New York Times, that work at the Washington Post, all the way to open source intelligence analysts that I talk to from a broad variety of different ideological backgrounds, the conversations that we had revolved around some of the other open source intelligence community members.
Why is it going so slow?
Basically fucking ideological backgrounds. The conversations that we had revolved around some of the other open source intelligence community members basically fucking bringing forward incredibly stupid conclusions, like how this massive casualty-inducing rocket that was actually a cause of an intercepted missile that fell on the hospital. Every single point that was brought forward in the immediate aftermath of the hospital was actually completely incorrect. But you didn't make a video about that. You made a video about me. Because if you made a video,
about you, yes, you finally get it.
Stop. Listen. Let me finish. You didn't make a video about GeoConfirmed and how.
The thing is, I think Hasan gets it from the start, and he's just trying to like desperately get wriggle out of being held accountable. I think that's what's actually happening anyway. Like, I think Hasan got it from the start.
Viral his fucking thread was. You didn't make a video about how wrong most of the news outlets were for directly reporting what the fuck, directly reporting what the fuck Israel says as though it's God's honest truth. Okay,
I don't report.
They got everything wrong on that subject, but guess what, dude? They got everything wrong, but you didn't. But there was no Willie Mac video on that because why would you make it?
Hold on, did they correct it?
Wait,
did they correct it?
No, they haven't.
They haven't. They've just doubled down on it.
No, I'm talking about all of the fucking false testimony that they brought forward about how Israel. Most of these outlets that literally just repeated whatever the fuck Israel said just went along with it because it goes along with the overarching narrative.
Right, but
right now, Willie should just go examples. Examples, come up, no, example. Like Hasan did at the beginning. Right, that's what you should do.
Make a video on them just because I made a video on you.
Because you said, wait, hold on. In the beginning of this conversation, you literally said, if someone else had gotten information wrong, I would have done a video on them too. But only you got the information wrong.
I didn't say that. If I made a video on somebody, if I made a video on somebody else.
You said those exact words.
Let me correct it because that's a ridiculous statement, right?
But you did say that. If you care about misinformation, maybe you should, I don't know, make the next video about IDF and all the times that they fucking lied about every single bombing campaign.
So you're saying because I made a video on you, I now got to make a video on Israel?
No, you don't have to do anything. But you can't also maintain the position that you care about the truth and honesty in journalism like you're a fucking Gamergate holdout being like, oh, I care about the ethics in video game journalism. That's why we have to dox these fucking female journalists or some shit.
What? What the fuck? Now that was done purely to link to his audience, like, oh, he's like a Gamergator. Remember those guys? It's like, yeah, he's basically a misogynist. Like, Hasan knows exactly what he's doing. Right? He's not just throwing out, like, he knows exactly where. I think Hasan knows exactly what's going on.
I didn't dox anybody, bro. What are you talking about?
I didn't say that. I'm using, do you know what a fucking analogy is, dumb fuck?
I got a question. If I go ahead and let's say like you referenced in that big long rambly rant that lasted like 5 minutes, right? You referenced that you later in the stream got a story right and that I should have talked about that because you covered some things right. Does that mean I can't criticize you for when you're wrong?
No, of course you can. The entire point is framing something incorrectly. if there's 8 hours of coverage on a particular matter, and throughout that coverage, I'm actually personally talking about how the red line I would draw is on the ground. If there is an on-the-ground investigation where they look at ground soil analysis, one factor of the forensic analysis on whether or not this was a misfire is actually seeing the impact, right? You have to look at the crater. And the crater in and of itself, immediately, once the dust settled and we saw the crater, I said, while I originally looked at the video, can I please explain what's happening here? Or are you just in here to fucking cry? Okay.
Well, it sucks because you're going on about irrelevant stuff.
Who's crying? It seems like it's Hasan who's crying. You're like, well, no, what about this? Did you look at this? Did you look at this kind of shit? Like, if anyone's crying. This has actually gotten quite boring, because it literally is just them going round and round in circles. I mean, Hasan keeps saying ever more. It's not even ever more silly shit. You can say if you're doing the same tactic from the beginning, and it's kind of actually become boring to watch. I'm actually bored of this. We'll watch the end. Don't get me wrong. We'll watch the end. But I am now bored.
Your ultimate statement is that my claims are baseless. Then you haven't done your research.
Well, it is funny watching how frustrated and upset Hasan is getting.
None of this is baseless.
Being held to account.
You jump to conclusions.
Of course, yeah, I jumped to the same conclusions that the BBC did too, and I also said.
But they corrected it. You don't.
No, but you're failing to understand is, I, even on the same day, immediately after this, said I might be wrong on this, and if I'm wrong, here is how I will be disproven. Okay, if somehow we end up having an impact crater analysis and soil analysis to see what kind of munitions was used in this process, and it is consistent with an Islamic Jihad rocket, because we know what kind of rockets they have, and this most likely, and I said this the day of as well, was a possible batter rocket, the BADR, okay, that Islamic Jihad does have. If that is the case, then the ground soil, yes, chemical testing on the ground would prove that to be true. Hamas also, and I brought this up as well, which I thought was suspicious, could not find anything beyond the impact crater, could not find a possible shrapnel from the missile, because the missile doesn't perish. Okay? So what I said is, in situations like this, and I showed like an earlier event like this where Israel had lied, okay? In situations like this, usually they will bring forward a piece of the fucking missile, okay? If you're engaging in this, if you're engaging in my content in good faith, you would have seen all of this. I don't just like repeat whatever fucking thing I'm thinking about out of my ass.
You
okay?
do all the time. That's what
That's
the video
not
is.
true, because I'm telling
just
you.
watch the video, dude. Hold on. In the same stream,
I'm telling you where my analysis comes from. Talking
look how
to
you reframed this entire thing,
brother.
Yeah,
you complained here about one hospital bombing that
No,
is
it's
still
not. It's about
not
your pattern of
proven.
behavior
One
of
hospital bombing that is still.
See, this is the thing. Hasan is constantly trying to bring it up to the bombing and obsess over this, but it's about a consistent pattern of Hasan reporting, not just the way he leaps to conclusions, generally speaking, reporting really irresponsibly on things. He's often wrong about stuff. He leaps to conclusions. He often says it really crazy, quite extreme stuff, like the time he said the streets should run red with the blood of landlords. And it's just generally speaking, he has an audience of young, impressionable people, right, who look up to him, who, even when he's losing a debate, think he's winning. And he is probably a big source, if not the main source of information for some of these people, and yet he gives the information he gives them is often wrong and often presented very irresponsibly, right? With no accountability, when he makes ridiculous mistakes, when he leads to conclusions, and then he'll just go, "Oh, I'm a propagandist. Oh yeah, well I'm an idiot." Well, like he did on Piers Morgan, like he's done many other times. It's really pathetic, and it's just genuinely damaging.
not proven to be an Islamic Jihad rocket
I know, but
by
you,
saying
the criticism
third-party
is
forensic.
You say 100%, and then everybody who says otherwise, you were calling genocidal.
I still think
That's what you did on stream. That's what
yeah,
you did.
I did do that because they are. If you're defending Israel, you are genocidal.
Right, but if you simply are
wait,
telling
do you
the
think
truth with this
defending
report,
it? Okay.
Wait, now he's saying wait, whoa. Now he's saying, oh yeah, they're defending Israel, but they weren't defending Israel. They were saying, you're leaping into conclusions, stop concluding. And then they were saying, oh, actually, a lot of the evidence is saying it is an Islamic Jihad rocket. Guy said, what, 3 things to him? And Hasan went berserk.
Do you think defending Israel's actions?
Look how you're doing this now. You're now saying
okay,
because
you brought up a new point. You brought up a new point. We're moving on. We're not going to watch a shit ass video. You brought up a new point.
I know because you don't want the actual truth.
Okay, do you think what Israel is engaging in is ethnic cleansing and ethnic displacement in Gaza right now? You do?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, do you think defending this ethnic cleansing and ethnic displacement campaign would be defending genocidal acts then in your own assessment?
Yeah.
Okay, so we agree. All right, got it. Thank you.
I know the criticism is your reporting. It's not that, bro.
Yeah, got it. You care more about.
I
care about
doing a good job because you
got it. I'm glad we agree on it at least. I'm glad we agree on it. Okay, move on. Next point.
Yeah, see, Hasan was really hoping that he was going to defend Israel, and he didn't. And then Hasan's like, oh, okay, right, move on. Next point. He was really hoping he was going to defend Israel, and he could derail the conversation into a big debate about Israel. I don't know what WillyMac's views were, but he was right to just go, yeah, whatever.
Are you just gonna should I now bring up the next point?
Well, I don't know what the fucking points are.
Or are you gonna go on more about irrelevant?
And here, by the way, for if you don't know, we do have an automatic Fossabot timer usually for breaking news, especially when it comes to mass shootings, which includes the main mass shooting, which you claimed I was covering immediately or whatever.
Yeah, you covered the same day, didn't you?
I don't remember if I did, but if I did, it was specifically just the police. It was probably just whatever the police testimony was at the time. But here is the Fossabot from that get automatically timing out someone who is trying to bring this up.
So
anyway,
your chat's not allowed to talk about it, but you talk about it.
No, chat is talking about it so I can actually talk about it myself, and this was the day after. No, I actually didn't cover the main shooting at all that day, and I barely talked about that the next day, as a matter of fact.
Okay, fair enough then. I haven't watched those streams.
Okay. I don't think you watch a lot of the streams, because if you did, you would understand where a lot of my analysis is coming from, and you wouldn't be fucking making erroneous claims like this.
Bro. You kind of do bro politics and just shoot from the hip.
I'm sorry. Okay, okay, got it. What kind of politics do you watch, or what kind of politics do you actually engage with then?
I mean, I
have a style that. Wait, I don't get it. I have a style that you don't like. Okay, the end. That doesn't.
Yeah, but it's you. The style is you being wrong about stuff.
Well, the style is also him being very irresponsible in his reporting, right? The style is it's not just about a style issue. It's about an issue of him consistently reporting on stuff in a way that's irresponsible and that leads his audience to, right, and that basically misleads his audience to very impressionable people who will look up to him and think he's a big authority on a lot of these issues.
The style's about you doing, it's the same criticism. We're just going to talk in circle again. Dude, do you feel like you radicalized?
It's like I feel like we're just going round and round, because Hasan's saying the same shit, he's saying the same shit, and then now I'm saying the same shit, trying to, react to it. I'm going to watch some other people's reactions. I saw Chud Logic and reacted to it. I think Destiny's probably going to react to it. Just, I haven't seen those. I'm just kind of interested to see, did other people manage to, sit through all of this without being like, this is just going round in circles. I can't take any more of it.
When you get stuff wrong on these reporting.
There's no shit I can't take any more, to be fair. It's fucking funny seeing Hasan squirm, but after 45 minutes, I'm fucking bored.
Explain. I would love to hear what you mean by this.
For instance, you and Ethan on Israel, right? He's 100% seems he sympathizes with the Palestinians, right?
Yeah, 100%. I agree with
that. Comes on
that.
stream, yeah, all that good stuff.
Okay.
But then when he goes ahead and he's saying stuff dude, your whole chat's calling me racist. Your whole chat's calling me a genocidal freak. right? Are you going to do anything about that?
Yeah, because Hasan's priming them to do that when someone says shit they don't agree with, because that's what he does.
You don't. And the reason why they do that is because you said
It's really interesting you said that. Do you think?
You won't let me finish.
Every single day up until that very moment, every single day up until that very moment, I told my community, if you actually did watch beyond the clips, you would know that every single day, since the Leftovers broadcast, including the immediate aftermath of the Leftovers broadcast, the first time we talked at the Leftovers at the H2HU studio, I told my community that Ethan is sympathetic to Palestinians and that he is not your enemy. To yell at him in this situation would be fucking fruitless, ridiculous. Plenty of people tried to find drama. The reason why your audience does it is because
Hold on,
you asked me what kind of community cultivation I engage in.
You didn't even know what I was going to ask because you cut me off.
Okay, go ahead.
That's what you fucking did.
Okay, go ahead. I'm being very rude to my guest, by the way, but go on. I'm sorry, Felix.
Am I your guest? Who's your guest? All right, I was just saying, do you feel like you radicalize your audience because your audience calls Ethan
he's talking about me.
racist, even though he's pro-Palestinian, right? And the reason why they do that is because whenever anybody just reports like a basic fact, like Israel likely didn't do the Gaza hospital bomb, right? Your response is to freak out and call that chatter genocidal and say that they hate all Arabs. So that's why they do. You feel like you're
just agreeing with him,
radicalizing them to do it. I mean, they do it for a reason.
Are you in your own assessment here taking things out of context over the course of an 8-hour broadcast where you think maybe
context. It's all in context.
No, you don't know the context.
You gotta prove to me that
you can look at it because you can look at a fucking banning that is occurring on a stream and not recognize that banning is happening.
So what was the context then?
A sock account. That banning might be happening because someone is bad faith. That banning might be happening because. I'm sorry, we're talking about how I cultivate my community and how I moderate my community. How the fuck is me telling you how I moderate my community?
It's about how he influences his community. It's to Jesus Christ. Is Hasan actually not listening? Is he being dishonest and doing this on purpose? Or is he just not listening?
Everything it seems that goes against whatever narrative you want to frame is irrelevant in your opinion. So yeah, no wonder you want me to just watch the fucking YouTube video and sit in the goddamn shadows. Everything is irrelevant. You're asking me questions about how I operate. This is supposed to be your research. This is supposed to be your research, isn't it? Are you not supposed to be doing fucking research right now on your subject matter? So what's irrelevant?
You're asking, hold on. I just said, are you radicalizing your audience? And then you went on a rant about sock accounts. That's not relevant.
No, because I'm talking about how I cultivate and how I moderate my community. The entire conversation is within the framework of how I moderate my community. And what I told you is, you don't have any understanding of why I'm banning who, for what reason. You're just watching in small increments without recognizing
that in a
political...
Want it to be that way. It's not. I have entire streams downloaded. It's your whole stream.
Okay, that still doesn't matter because you don't know why we make moderation decisions. That's why you were wrong on the fucking shooting in Maine. That's why you were wrong on the Maine shooting too, because you can't comprehend what is going on behind the fucking scenes.
Radicalize your audience, and Ethan's the example. Why are you going on about banning? Why you ban people? And making it sound so complicated.
Do you think I'm radicalizing my community against Ethan when I told you time and time again that I have kept?
Is Hasan deliberately trying to evade, or is he just like not understanding him? I'm starting to think like he's deliberately trying to like just make out that the guy Willie, I keep on saying Willie Nelson, Willie Mac is just Is he trying to make? Is he deliberately trying to misunderstand him so he can answer a different question, or does he just not? Is he just not listening? Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. To Quas, get out.
My community.
I have to repeat what I say
again.
for a third time because it's very straightforward.
Brother, you ask me questions, I answer. You don't like the answer because it goes against your narrative that you're trying to fucking fulfill, and then you go, "Oh, it's irrelevant."
He answers another question like a politician, like a fuck question. Right, like Hasan, I wonder if Hasan will go into politics because he's so good at evading. He's so good at answering questions he wasn't asked. He's so good at like trying to like nail someone down on some minor point and make out like that's the whole focus of the discussion.
It's not irrelevant.
I'm answering you about A, and you give me number 3. It's like completely a different fucking thing. I say, Hasan, let's do run, and you go, I swim. It's not fucking relevant.
It is absolutely relevant. It's
No, so
absolutely relevant.
You go ahead
Do
and
you not
criticize
think?
people.
Do you not think that my moderation is what we're talking about? You literally
No,
Ethan.
What we're talking about is you attack people that talk about the facts, right? Like you go ahead and you're like, you're a genocidal freak, blah, 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 blah. Or opinions. It could be facts or opinions, right?
Uh-huh.
When it comes
do you know
to
how many people? Do you know how many people we ban
you're
on a
gonna
daily
cut me off
basis?
for that, hearing the question.
Okay, go ahead because you're not fucking asking a question. You're just like ranting. Go on. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Any of Hasan's like chat? I mean, I'm not sure I'm going to base it, like the entire audience off his chat. Any of them on Willy's side? He's talking about how he's not radicalising his audience through moderation. What is going on? I don't know whose side that is on. None of this makes sense. What facts? Oh, his audience aren't understanding either.
Give me your.
All right, I'll keep the question short.
Yeah.
When you criticize chatters by calling them genocidal freaks for having opinions that really are pretty nuanced, right, on a subject that is fairly nuanced, right? Why are you surprised, or you shouldn't be surprised that your chatters do that to Ethan? Like you're the one that radicalized them into doing that. They're doing it to Ethan because you do it.
If my word is so gold that a chatter is repeating what I'm saying in a moment's notice, then why are they not repeating what I'm saying or hearing what I'm saying, as a matter of fact, when I tell them over and over again every single day since Ethan and I had our leftovers broadcast?
He's obsessing over the Ethan thing. The point is that they behave that way to Ethan, or right? The question is, do they behave that way to Ethan? Because Hasan teaches them that that's how we treat people we don't agree with. If they don't agree with us, they're evil, fascist, genocidal maniacs. And that when you promote that idea, then they're going to apply that to, then that's how your audience are going to behave. You're promoting that idea to your audience.
That Ethan is actually an anti-Zionist,
Why don't
and he's
you ban
sympathetic
them,
to the Palestinian plight.
You ban everybody that links my video. Why don't you ban them for doing that to Ethan?
Wait, what? We literally had Ethan as a blocked word for straight up weeks at a time.
Yeah, but
What
why
are you
not
talking
fix
about?
the problem? The problem is they're calling him racist, not that
Wait,
Ethan's a bad guy.
wait. I just told you how I personally said time and time again, every single day, whenever a chatter tried to bring it up, whether they were drama farming or whether they were genuinely concerned with something that they misunderstood from Ethan's perspective. And even in that same conversation that I had with Ethan, that I believe that he's a very empathetic person and that I believe that he cares about Palestinian people. As my co-host, I said this time and time again. Okay?
Yeah.
Here's the question.
However, you also spoke out the other side of your mouth to try and appeal to your audience, who you know all have extreme positions. That was also
beyond that. What other mechanisms of control do you want me to bring forward, or are you just engaging in bad faith? Because I do, and I did. Yes, I did. I told my own moderators, because you don't know this. Again, after Ethan saw
your moderators are the one doing it, by the way. Like your mods are.
Yeah,
people
I
that
went
are
back and
also
looked at what
pushing
they
these
had
same
said
things.
as well. By the way, for the record, I know that you said this.
Okay.
I love that.
Oh,
the
so you
most
did watch
common-
my video?
No, I know that. What do you mean?
Oh.
No, I didn't watch your video at all. Why are you getting so fucking excited? I'm
So
saying.
you just mentioned something. You said you
Oh,
saw
okay,
that.
my
I did
bad.
this.
I misspoke.
Wait, what did he
no,
say?
I know that. What do you mean? No, I looked at what
making
they
the
had
same
said
thing.
as well. By the way, for the record, I know that you said this.
Okay.
I love that.
Oh,
the
so you
most
did watch
common-
my video?
No, I know that. What do you mean?
Oh.
No, I didn't watch your video at all. Why are you getting so fucking excited? I'm
So
saying.
you just mentioned something. You said you
Oh,
saw
okay,
that.
my
I did
bad.
this.
I misspoke. I apologize. This is something that every single person has brought up in this situation, including Ethan even brought up. Okay? Oh, Jesus Christ, you got excited. Okay. Anyway.
I was pumped because I thought you were a secret Willie Mac fan.
No, I did not watch your video, and I most
my
likely
real
will never
on the
watch your
ground
videos.
journalism.
But anyway, listen. First of all, I'm not a journalist. I've never said I'm a journalist. When I talk about
you do reports from the ground, bro. That's what you said.
wait, when I said I do reports from the ground, where
Yeah.
where is that from? Do you
It's
have
from your
a
stream.
clip?
Yeah, it's before.
Can
It's why you said you wouldn't go on Piers Morgan.
Can you send me the clip? Because I think it's probably a miscommunication. Like, I've never said I do on-the-ground reporting. If I said that, I probably misspoke.
I mean, it's more me being facetious.
But
If you want
people in the comments like nobody watched your video, but it's got like nearly 400k views. Like a lot of people in Hasan's chat are just saying, "Oh, look, nobody watched your video. It's happening before." But like, yeah, if you look at the view count, like the view counts on this video is pretty high.
watch it, we can watch it. Let's do it.
Oh, so you're admitting that you are
Everyone knows
lying
you're not
and saying that I'm an on-the-ground reporter.
You just sit in your fucking house. Everybody knows you don't actually report from the ground.
Yeah, which is why I would never say that. So I don't know why.
You
so
did
wait,
say that though. That's what's funny.
I probably was talking about how I work with on-the-ground reporters. I don't personally engage in on-the-ground reporting, so it probably was a moment where I misspoke. I've never said that I do on-the-ground reporting.
Yeah, I know. No, everyone knows you don't actually do on-the-ground reporting.
Wait, so why did you bring that up then?
I was just giving you shit.
Wait, so I don't understand. So where is your supposedly quote-unquote journalistic integrity in this situation? So it's like... So
I mean, it's
all
a
you
video
do-
that's also entertaining, so sometimes I just am making fun of you, and other times it is
Oh,
actually a
okay,
serious
got it.
allegation.
All right, got it.
Yeah, I mean, you make
no,
jokes
I
on
wasn't...
stream. I mean...
Yeah, I do, which then you apparently, or if I misspeak, apparently you fucking use it in your commentary as though it's like super serious. So anyway.
I didn't name one example that I did that.
I don't know. I don't watch your videos, so.
Yeah, so don't make shit up. Here's a classic example.
Don't make shit up. You just said I fucking say I'm reporting on the ground when we both know I didn't.
Exactly right
and
in front of
also,
me.
on top of that, you literally started the conversation by saying you never apologized for fucking being wrong about Russia invading Ukraine.
You usually double
What the
down or
fuck?
shift the goalpost is what you do.
That's what? That's not
Yeah.
true. I literally
Dude,
said
that's just what we talked about for the last hour, bro.
none of this
Come
was
on.
shifting the goalpost. You just don't like it. That's it. You want me
You
to be
shifted the
wrong.
goalpost
That's
in
it.
this
You don't want
conversation.
you
This
want me to be wrong.
conversation,
That's
the
why you keep
question-
saying you shift the
Hold on.
goalpost.
The question I asked you was, do you feel like your audience acts that way towards Ethan? Because you act like that towards everybody else. And you just go on about moderation.
Okay, if my audience is acting that way towards Ethan, okay, but
You feel like it's
but my
because you play a
audience,
role in that.
so they're getting their points from me. They're getting their anger from me. So
Yes.
why don't they hear me out when I talk about how Ethan is not
Because
someone
you
that you
radicalize
should
them
be
into
yelling at
everybody
all?
having a different position has to be genocidal.
Oh, got it.
That's
So
why.
like they don't listen. So they don't listen to one thing. They listen to whatever favors your perspective in this matter, but they don't listen to the other thing.
Yeah, the
They
one
also-
out of character thing. Yeah, they don't listen to the one thing that's out of character, whereas they listen to all the stuff that you normally say. And then the one time you're like, oh no, I do disagree with Ethan, but he's genocidal. They're like, oh come on, bro. Yeah, because you promoted something for years now. So because you promoted a particular behaviour for years, right? It makes sense that these people then go out and fucking go and exactly treat Ethan like he's genocidal because he disagreed with them. Because that's what Hasan usually does.
I think
favor
you're being
you.
too soft
Got
on
it.
him.
So you get to pick and
Exactly it.
choose on what I get to do, or maybe
No,
let's be
it's
real.
really
You're
simple to
completely
understand.
oblivious to how much I've talked to my own community about not fucking yelling at Ethan and about how he's a good person, how he's an empathetic person, how he's a kind person, and he truly cares about Palestinian people. Maybe
Is that
that
why
has
you were,
some.
You were kind
because
of.
it doesn't go
I don't
along
know,
with your
I'm gonna have to
narrative.
watch the
My
debate,
point is
but
this.
From what
My
I've
point
seen,
is
you were
this.
kind of bad faith in your debate with him. It wasn't exactly like a very nice debate
my
you had.
God.
I
Brother,
can't
brother,
wait to
brother.
go watch it. I'm gonna go find out myself. but-
Okay. Well, have fun watching it. This was the most unproductive.
I know, 'cause
I wonder whose fault that was. I wonder whose fault that was.
I'm not mad that you
words
disagree with me.
doesn't
Plenty of people
change
disagree
the
with me.
facts.
I yell at my chat every fucking day, dumbass. There are people who disagree with me that have been in here
I know,
for
you
5
all
fucking
fucking
years.
demonize them all
Shut
for
the
having
fuck
different
up.
opinions.
No, that's not true. there's a difference between disagreements. There's a difference between disagreements and someone who is just trying to cut drama as hard as they fucking can. You don't know anything about Israel or Palestine. You don't give a shit about Israel or Palestine. You're just trying to fucking make money by cutting drama, which you've shown. Which you have shown what you're interested in. You spread a fuck ton of misinformation, and you also literally refuse to hear the additional context behind it. You refuse to hear the additional context behind it, and you just sit there and you say, Hasan, you must not be talking to open source intelligence community people. You must not be talking to actual journalists.
That's not what I said.
Literally actual forensic analysts that are working at Washington Post, New York Times, and the like. You must just simply be making this up. When I tell you, as I am the source matter here, right? I'm the subject matter here. If I'm the subject matter of your commentary, I'm giving you what I do, what my process is. And instead of going, okay, maybe I misunderstood how this works, you've turned around and tried to fucking yell about all this shit. I've tried to show you that the circumstantial evidence presented at the time, and still to this day, greatly favors that this was most likely another Israeli munition. Okay, I said this, but you don't give a shit because you don't care about the truth. You just care about fucking stirring shit up. It doesn't matter if I say 100%. Okay, matter, on the same fucking day, in the immediate moment after that, I have said
the immediate moment after that.
Oh my fucking lord, dude. On the same exact coverage, of the bombing of this hospital, regardless of the actual. Regardless of how overwhelming the evidence was that this was yet another Israeli bombing campaign, which, by the way,
there really wasn't that much evidence, dude. All the evidence,
yes, it was.
All the people reporting on it.
Okay, no. We can't have this conversation then. If you legitimately think that there isn't enough circumstantial evidence that all pointed to Israel literally bombing the same vicinity, Israel bombing the hospital 2 days prior, if you think that is not enough evidence that Israel was bombing the hospital again, including the fucking doctors, including the doctor. Wait, what?
Yeah, not to the point that if somebody goes, you're leaping to conclusions, let's wait and see, it's right for you to scream that they're genocidal. Right? Again, showing your audience that of young, impressionable people that when we don't agree with someone on an issue like this, we scream at them about how they're genocidal freaks.
100%. I don't think
including the fucking 90%. I still think it's 90% that it's Israel.
Yeah,
so how about that?
You still think it's 90%.
Oh, so that's the difference. So that's the difference. I didn't say 90%. My bad, brother. Sorry.
No,
next time I'll say, guys, it's 90% Israel.
You still claim it. You still double down and say the exact same thing.
Because of the evidence that I have presented. Every single point of evidence that Israel presented was discredited instantaneously. The only fucking evidence we have is the circumstantial evidence. I said all of these on the same fucking day of the coverage, okay? I said all of the evidence is circumstantial, but of course circumstantial evidence overwhelmingly says that this was yet another Israeli bombing campaign. We looked through the same... We looked at... There wasn't any evidence? There was no evidence.
I mean, there was circumstantial, but you think that's enough to go off of when it's breaking news and they're going to
Well, it's kind of crazy that you say that because I did mention that it was circumstantial at the time and that it was overwhelmingly. So you do agree with me. Got it. Okay, so circumstantial evidence overwhelmingly favors that this is Israel. Got it. This was my commentary on the time. So now we've proven that you fucking found a 2 minute segment on the day of.
Hasan's so fucking dishonest. I'm sorry. Like, all the tactics he's used here, he has to know what he's doing. Like, I don't think he's just trying to, like, the only thing that I kind of wonder is he just desperately casting around for arguments and saying whatever pops into his head? But I don't think so. I think he's consciously trying to deflect and constantly trying to move the goalposts and constantly trying to move the conversation to another, to another area. Or just slightly change it. So, like, that's what he's done the whole time, where it's like, okay, so do you think the way you influence your audience could, do you think that calling people genocidal when they don't agree with you could be influencing your audience to then behave that way to Ethan? Well, we have strict moderation problems if people are saying things. I told people to be nice to Ethan, and it's like anything to avoid dealing with, do you think the way you behave is rubbing off on your audience in a bad way?
Fucking clip and go, this is what Hasan said. He's clearly in the fucking wrong. He's so stupid.
And catch you in the slack, right? I could just do it. It's gonna be really. It's gonna happen. I mean, what can I do here?
What do you mean? What,
I'm just going to go watch the broadcast and show you live.
Okay, go ahead. That's great. Watch the broadcast. You're most likely going to do the exact same thing that you've done thus
don't
far,
even know what I did. You
which
didn't
is
watch
over
the
the course
video.
of a fucking 8-hour broadcast,
idiot.
you're going to find
You didn't
another
even watch
fucking
the
moment to be
video.
like, see? He read the chat.
How do you
he
know
did
what I did?
this.
You
He
didn't
did
even
that.
watch it.
There is, over the course of an 8-hour
You right now
broadcast.
is the same thing you always do. I'm just saying.
No,
like this, you're
just
doing
stop
it in
saying
real
it's the same
time.
thing you always
you're doing
do.
it in real time, bro.
Over the
Oh,
course
okay.
of an 8-hour broadcast, if you look to literally 3
How
moments,
come
you
nobody
can
else
find me.
fucks
You
shut
can
up
find
as much as you, dude? That does 8-hour broadcast.
because no one has the most psychopathic fucking fandom like idiots like you who fucking sit through every minutia
Okay.
to find
Nobody else has like armies of people who look for want to clip chimp them and all the rest of it. Right? How many of the people? And fucking every big streamer has armies of people who can't wait to clip chimp them. The fuck is he talking about?
clippable moment to find a clippable moment to be like he sucks, he's bad. That's
You
the
make
reason,
research
dickhead.
sound bad,
All right. Anyway, I gotta go. I'm being rude to my guest. I can't believe I made Felix sit through this. Okay. Oh, my guest has a question for you.
All right, let's
go ahead.
Don't you think it's weird how like Anne Hathaway like isn't Jewish? I just found that out like last year.
I don't fucking know, bro.
Doesn't she like kind of like look like
Who the
Jewish?
fuck
I always
is this
thought
guy?
that. I was like, let's go. That's one of ours. But apparently she isn't. She's
Are
like
you
the
Jewish?
opposite. Yeah.
Nice. Shalom.
Are you?
No, I'm not.
I was about to say Willie Mac.
I'm just
that
a Midwest
name
kid,
isn't in the
bro.
Bible.
Yeah. All right, take it easy, man.
Felix, do you have any questions for Willie Mac?
That was the question.
That's it?
Yeah.
No.
I just found out about the Anne Hathaway thing.
Well,
like this year.
It's breaking news. I'm
That
sure
was a good question.
Willie Mac.
I don't know this guy. Maybe
maybe
he's a genius and he's just a bit baked or something. He kind of looks high, but that was it. I think this guy also knows Hasan got made a fool of. Maybe.
Journalism or your ethics in conflict
Thanks
reporting.
for coping by just saying stuff's out of context without
Okay,
showing
yeah,
it
you
at
got
all.
me, dude. You fucking owe me. Okay, thanks for
Yeah.
coping, he says. All right, Jesus Christ.
Right. Fucking, right, let's, okay. Sure. Right, oh, God, yeah. So, I think I've said everything that needs to be said about that. I think I'm going to stop now. That's it. Yeah, I don't watch it anyway. Right.